outside of the restaurant.
Mark's Prime Steakhouse.
On Tuesday, several of the officers responded to Mark's Prime Steakhouse in reference to a woman identified right there as Rachel King, who was refusing to pay her tab according to the arrest report.
I'm going to write down.
She forgot her makeup.
Former co-worker's wife.
This is who this girl looks like?
Yep. I'm going to write like I'm writing 1,000 letters.
Yeah, I was going to say, how long's our old boys
I don't think so.
You don't think
so?
Show
me.
Mm-mm. No?
Not really.
Okay.
Now, one of the officers entered the restaurant, King right here, observed sitting at the bar. The report stated she appeared to be, quote, intoxicated. Manager informed the officer that King had refused to pay her tab, which totaled $99.53. Officer assisted with escorting King out of the steakhouse into the patio area where she sat down in the chair. According to the report, bystander offered to help King by getting the cash she needed to pay for her tab, though she first would need to send the money to a bystander via Venmo. Report stated that King gave the officer permission to assist with sending the money to the bystander. While the officer was attempting to send the money, King's cell phone, she became agitated and stated that the officer should, quote, leave her alone. King then snatched her phone back from the officer before allegedly raising her fist, quote, as far back as she could. Then she punched the officer in the testicles, which caused the officer to feel, quote, extreme pain. We probably didn't need that part of the story, did we?
No, we didn't.
Just assume. Now, she was arrested and posted a $17,500 bond.
I think I would have to tase her at that point, just out of principle.
Yeah, or the old see you next Tuesday punt.
Yeah, there's a local restaurant that has a wall of shame, which you don't see much anymore. You used to see it a lot, like when people would bounce checks.
Right.
They'd have the wall of shame. They'd either put the check up or with the stuff scratched out, or they'd put their photo up.
Our man Fitzy had that at the Chinese restaurant.
If only he had known before he got pulled over in your neighborhood. There was a wall of shame, though, in a local restaurant with photos of people that dined and dashed. And the first time my youngest daughter saw it, she was kind of put out by it. She's like, I think that's so mean, until I explained what they did to earn their spot on the wall of shame. Now she thinks it's funny.
Yeah.
She references it anytime we go to this restaurant. You don't see it much anymore, but there are two in this one restaurant that is they are prominently placed.
Well, when we do our shows once a quarter from the floor of Bama, every now and then you'll see the picture that pops up. This guy's been banned for life.
That's right.
You see him.
Yeah.
So I met a guy over the weekend that has been banned from life.
And at the Bama?
Yeah.
I just don't know that they can enforce it, honestly.
How can? Yeah, they can.
They can have you trespassed, can't they?
Well, they can if they recognize you. Do you guys know how many people go into the Bama on a busy night?
It is hard to get banned, though. I think it really is a handful.
Fake ID gets you banned instantly for life.
Yeah, this wasn't that. He broke two guys, both orbital bones.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, I mean, that ought to get you banned for life. I don't know the whole story there, but yeah, fake ID at the Bama, you are banned for life. Like, I know multiple underage people that have used fake IDs that got the old ban for life.
Do you think we'll ever have face recognition to get into the floor of Bama?
Not the Bama, but some other places.
Yeah, probably not the Bama, but I would agree with you. Probably some places.
By the way, let me just a PSA, and I'm doing the Bama a favor here. They don't want you to get busted with a fake ID.
Oh, no.
They hate doing that.
They don't need your business when you're underage.
They are extremely good at doing it. Like, we've seen the fake IDs that they have taken. Thousands.
Listened to my last message so well and got rid of those cargo shorts and stained t-shirts. It's time to replace them with Rhoback. Go to Rhoback.com and click on the Refresh collection to find all that you need for an EG-approved wardrobe. It includes pieces that will have you ready to hit the golf course after a busy day of meetings, or comfy favorites for travel and working from home. Get 20% off using code TNR20. See, I'm saving you some money.
Think about the best summer nights of your life. How many of those were in a great t-shirt? Visit nextround.store to get the perfect t-shirt for the next perfect southern night. Nextround.store. The memories are waiting.
Everything Next Round is on demand now in the podcast section at nextroundlive.com. Follow Dunaway on Twitter and Instagram at Jim Dunaway. Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Live show on a Friday as we get going today. We'll recap SEC meetings in Destin. Brown will give us his 6 favorite moments. We have a ton of controversy that I don't like in college sports, things that are changing, and it's not because I'm old. We'll talk about that, including what seems to be the NCAA tournament basketball field changing, according to the NCAA president. We'll get to that coming up in the show. But with LT and D&B here, and Tyler and Melton and Forrester and EG and Taylor Korn, let's start off with a little blind taste test in the NFL. LT, if you'll pull out your dry erase board
right away.
Yeah, pull out the dry erase board. If you'll number it 1 through 6, I've already done it for you, LT, to help you out. I love the hat, by the way. Look at the hat. That's LA Ram black hat. I haven't seen it yet.
This was a present. You guys remember when they did the color release in 2020?
Vaguely.
The Rams' new logo color release.
Yeah.
Buddy Chris Stewart sent this to me. So I've only worn it a couple of times.
I've never seen it.
Yeah, I've worn it a couple of
like
times.
C. Stu of Gutter Cap?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
By the way, Gutter Cap helped out a friend of mine this week.
Yeah,
Well, I
heard
hope
about
they
that.
did.
Signed it up and
Right away.
ready to go. I was on a golf trip with him, and he was talking about bad gutters. And I was like, hey, dude, first of all, that slice, horrible. But your gutters, go with our friends at Gutter Cap.
823-2212, guttercapbirmingham.com.
So here's what we're doing. Bet Online has specific Super Bowl matchups, but I've got 6.
Rams are involved in 8 of the top 8, by the way. I'm just saying.
Of the top 8,
I've
there are
seen
8
this.
of them. Okay.
Okay, but I've got 6 that are sort of quirky. You saw the email, so this is going to be.
Well, I mean, I saw this a few days. I probably saw this on Monday.
Okay.
Exact odds for these Super Bowl matchups.
Okay, but I got some quirky ones here, so play along, LT, and Brown, don't cheat on him.
I only looked at the Rams. by
Okay,
the way.
I'm not
Okay.
cheating. I would not cheat. So 1 through 6?
So 1 is the most likely to happen. I'm going to give you the number one first, and we'll go to
Okay.
the quirky ones after this.
1 through 6, though, right?
1 through 6, yeah. A Super Bowl rematch, which is rare, doesn't happen, but this would be the 3rd time in 5 years, Eagles and Chiefs. What do you think the odds are for that? Put them 1 to 6. Do you think? I'm going to give you some quirky ones. So this should be 1.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. So 1 will be the
So 1 is
favorite.
Yeah,
one
this-
is the most
Yeah.
unlikely to
17
happen?
to 1 odds. This
Yeah.
1 is the most likely to happen.
Most
Yeah.
likely.
Yeah, 17 to 1 odds. I'm going to give you crazier ones than this.
Yeah, by the way, those are your 2 favorites to win each conference.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I need to put, you're telling me I need to put KC
That's
in
number 1.
Yeah,
Philly 1.
yeah.
All
It's not
right.
going to happen, but that's number 1.
All right, here we go.
Okay, next up, an all New York Super Bowl.
Okay.
Giants-Jets.
I don't even know what else you got. I got that
that's
number
6.
6. Yep.
Impossible.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, you could, I'd almost say you could cut a digit. I'll say it. You can cut a digit.
Yeah. I think if the Knicks somehow come back, become the 14th team to come back from a 3-1 deficit after winning last night, they go on to win NBA championship, and we see an all-New York Super Bowl, get your affairs in
Yeah,
order.
let me just go into, yeah, absolutely. There's as good a chance that 2 AFC teams play in the Super Bowl as the Jets and the Giants play in the Super
You
Bowl.
both lock that in?
Yeah, it's
Yeah, it's number 6 for me, man.
Yeah.
Okay. Then I'm going to slide in for you and tell you Sean Payton's Broncos versus Sean Payton's old team, the New Orleans Saints, in the Super Bowl.
The Broncos have a better chance of making it than either the Jets or the
Yeah.
Giants.
This is identical, though.
I'm going 5, though.
We're going to work my way up for the
Well,
bottom.
and just because New Orleans, I think most people are penciling them in. When you see power rankings start to come out, they're going to be 32 out of 32 with everyone.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're all matched up
There
here.
are actually odds on these, though.
Oh,
Is
yeah,
that what
yeah.
you
I'm
said?
going to give you the odds in a
Okay,
second.
all right.
But for people that like to piss their money away, yes.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
if you want to burn some cash.
Yeah. Because it's so easy just to pick one team to get to the Super Bowl.
That's right, yeah.
Let's go and
Let's
pick
go and pick
an
2.
exact
Right,
matchup.
right.
How about Pete Carroll's Las Vegas Raiders against Pete Carroll's old team, the Seattle Seahawks?
That's going to be 4 for me.
4?
Yeah.
Are you working your way up for the bottom?
Yeah,
two,
I
Jim?
do think the Raiders are going to be improved. The Seahawks aren't far off. If Sam Darnold plays like he did last year, which I doubt he will, the Seahawks will make the playoffs.
Yeah, these all sound insane, by the way.
Yeah. Okay, less insanity here.
All right.
An all Los Angeles Super Bowl.
Oh,
Rams
Rams
Chargers.
That'd be number
That's
2.
2 for me. Yeah.
Yep.
LA. I
LA.
could see that.
You could get into
Well,
that.
I mean, it's going to require Justin Herbert to win meaningful games,
That's
which
true.
he has struggled in doing. And, we'll see. I mean, Jim Harbaugh didn't really change that, did he? And a lot of people thought Harbaugh would change it. To be fair, it was only 1 year.
Yeah, when you start to look at the postseason, though, what you got to go through in the AFC and now in the NFC, I mean, the teams and the quarterbacks you've got to beat just to get to a Super Bowl.
Yeah, I mean, Justin Herbert's one of those guys that obviously has all the talent in the world. Everybody, I mean, almost any NFL franchise would say, I would trade my quarterback for Justin Herbert. I shouldn't say almost any, but a lot would.
Yeah.
But Justin Herbert has never done anything that you can hang your hat on. I mean, what is...
Well, once it clicks, though, I'm trying to remember another quarterback that was in like John Elway. But John Elway would get a little deeper in the playoffs.
Yeah.
But once it clicked, it really clicked.
I learned the meaning of the phrase calling card last night, the origination of that. I didn't know the origin of calling card, but we use it a lot. What is Justin Herbert's calling card?
Wait. Let's see if I can guess the calling card.
Yeah, I'm going to do the same.
Right.
The calling card was, I thought it was I had a chance to sell a client,
right?
And I have a calling card. Is my best,
like a business card.
Yeah, it was a small card that I would hand over with my highlights.
It developed into that.
Yeah, I would say that it was back before we had like telephone communication, and you would actually write on the card what you needed from someone, and they would run it to that person.
No, to me, it was virtually like an index card. That if I walked into a client, or if I was an actor, I'd walk in, or if I was applying for a job, here's my contact information. Here are 2 or 3 things that I do really well. Basically, it's a short version of a resume. Yeah.
So basically, the way it worked was back in the day, it was for whatever reason rude, just to show up at somebody's house. But if you had to do that, they would choose whether to accept you or not. So you had a card. You were calling on them. That was your calling card.
Oh, so you'd give it
so you would hand it to the butler or the maid or whatever. They would walk in and say, Master Dunaway is here to see you. And you would say, God, this is a bad time. And he'd go back and run off.
Tell him to go away.
Yeah, or you would say, tell him to reside in the parlor. We'll be in there in a moment.
Come back in a fortnight.
Yes. So that was a calling card. You would show up. You would have your card.
Hey,
and they would walk in.
On the scale of obnoxious, when your doorbell rings, how annoyed do you get?
Well, I tell you what.
You've got dogs. A lot.
We fixed it. So with ours,
you put tripwire on the driveway?
Well, I mean, first of all, nobody ever comes to our door, which is a welcome sight. Basically, it's only like some kid in the neighborhood coming over to see if my daughter can come out and ride bikes or whatever.
It's the kids in our neighborhood coming. Can we play with Angus and Charlie?
Yeah. So I mean, that's really the only people that ever come to the door.
You have kids that come by and ask to play with the dogs?
It's sort of sad.
Oh, no.
But there is one family in our neighborhood that have 3 of the coolest kids. They're now approaching 15, 13, and 11, but we've been there 4 years. So when we first got in the neighborhood, their parents won't let them have a dog.
Oh, man.
They are no dog. They're no dog family, no pet family.
Yeah.
And they get a kick out of our dogs. And they're to the age now that we trust them enough because we got small dogs that can hurt their backs really easy. So we had to really watch when they would play with them when they were younger. But we trust them now if they want to take them for a walk, take them for a walk.
Are they responsible enough to house sit for me with Chili and Bullet? Safety in numbers, there's 3 of them.
They like dogs, Lance. They don't like demons.
Well,
15, 13, 11. No.
Well, this might work both ways. Their parents that don't want them to have dogs. I mean, one weekend around Bullet and Chili.
That would get them out of wanting dogs, probably. But they come and we have a big green area out front, and they just go out and play with the dogs and for 15, 30 minutes, and they get their fill of a dog, and they'll come back and next week when they're bored and want to play with the dog, they're tired of the pool, and they'll come ring the doorbell. The dogs go crazy. The dogs love them. Like anytime we walk around the neighborhood, they'll stop. Angus, especially the lazy one, will just sit his butt down and refuse to move outside their house. He'll give them a good 5 minutes to accidentally peek out the window and come out and play with him. He'll sit there. You can't drag him. He'll just sit there for 5 minutes, and then he realizes, okay, they're either not home or they're not coming out. He'll sadly get up and try.
You know what I've learned about you? You don't like people, but you don't say no.
Oh, I don't.
Yeah, because I ran into somebody that said they drive your car, which I thought was interesting.
They drive my car?
Yeah. They're like, Jim lets me drive his car. And I was like,
who are you letting drive your car?
I don't know.
But you let people play with the dogs? You let people drive the car?
Well, I do let people borrow my truck when they want to move.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, if you had a choice come help me move.
No, yeah,
Or
you
can
can
I
have
borrow
it.
your truck? I'm like, here's the keys.
You can have.
I'll tell you what, I'll just give you the truck.
I mean, I've said before, I would pitch in money to help you move
Oh
before
my
I'm
God,
helping you move.
you've got to be in a special place for me to help you move, buddy. That's
It's going to be blood.
I
We're going to share some DNA.
I would rather get a colonoscopy than move.
Yeah.
Yes. So you got to have a special place.
So
for me to help you
basically,
move.
I've got it set so the doorbell only rings on my phone. My
That's-
phone or Jennifer's phone or
That's
whatever.
good.
There's no doorbell at the Brown house.
Yeah.
It only shows up on our phone.
My dogs are so sensitive that an Amazon package just being dropped off outside,
Oh,
they
they
go
go nuts.
crazy.
That's about the only time I get the notification is if a kid's coming over to play with my daughter or Amazon drops something at our front door, which is about a daily occurrence.
Yeah.
at the
If
Brown
If you're
house.
just joining us, it's a blind ranking of likely Super
We're
Bowl
down to the
matchups.
last one.
That's it.
Yeah, we got one more, and this is all because I hate math and things that look like math problems. And the big stories in college football are 5 plus 11 and 72 or
16.
76. So we'll get to that coming up, your big stories in a second. One more. Place the 49ers versus the Chiefs on your board there, and then I'll give you the odds to all this.
I'll go third. That's all I had left, but I'm actually happy with this ranking.
We've got the exact same ranking,
Yep.
and I feel really good about it.
I am not unhappy about if you had just given me these, this is exactly how I would have ranked them.
17-1 at the top, KC and Philadelphia. 17-1 odds.
You know, and there's somebody that looks at that and they're like, damn, that seems easy. You got both favorites from each conference. You know, $100, pay me $1,700.
Yeah, good
It
luck.
ain't
We'll
that
throw
easy.
that down. Yeah, it's not that easy.
I bet my Rams Chargers, I bet that's 35-1.
It is actually not even second. 39-1 is 49ers and Chiefs. Now, I think that is throwing your money away. I think the 49ers
these
take a
are.
step back.
Yeah, all these are.
But I don't think the 49ers are top 3 team in the NFC this year.
Oh, wait a minute. That was 39-1 for
That was 39-1.
49ers Chiefs?
Yep. Next is Rams Chargers at 129-1 LT. Now we're talking, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, go throw $100 down on that, Lance.
Yeah.
So $100 give me what?
Almost $1,300.
No,
No,
it gets me more than that.
No,
almost $13,000.
almost $13,000.
Almost
It
$13,000
would.
for $100.
In Lance's case, it would buy the tickets to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Yeah, or put 1,000 on it, win 130,000.
That's right. Yeah, it's that easy.
Put
I'm
10,000
I
on
have
it.
said that the Chargers are going to win the NFC or the AFC West.
So if I put 10,000 on it, how much does that win me?
You know, you just keep adding-
1.3.
You can keep adding a zero, right?
1.3
Yeah.
million?
Yeah.
You know,
But let me ask you:
I could be a
is it
millionaire?
going to hurt you if you lose 10,000?
Oh, yeah.
Then you're going to lose 10,000.
It hurts me when I lose
could
$100.
you imagine having $10,000 on Justin Herbert in the postseason?
Yep.
Well, I'll tell you that $10,000 ticket. All you got to do is get both the Rams and the Chargers there, and somebody would buy it from you.
I'll be back at a sports book in July coming up. How much will you pay me not to bet on the Rams going to the Super Bowl?
You're
this
smart
could pay
right
for
there.
my trip.
That's right.
But again, you don't believe the Rams are going to go to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Hey,
Todd
so-
Fuhrman joins the show in a little bit.
So, hey, do we remember in
10 o'clock.
2021 when the Rams were in the midst of a 3-game
I do.
losing streak and I bought the ticket from Dunaway?
I do remember that well.
Yeah, they
What
didn't
happened?
lose again.
Yeah,
They didn't lose again.
But
They won
Jim
it all.
believed in them when he made the bet, though. You didn't know he was making the bet. Let me quickly ask Lance this: Rams Chargers 129-1. Let's say I put $10,000, like Jim was talking about. I could win 1.3. If they just both made the playoffs, Rams in the NFC playoffs, Chargers in the AFC playoffs, how much do you think I could lay that off for? I've got $10,000 in it.
I think you could get at least $50,000 to $75,000 for that
Okay.
ticket, and I think that's almost worth doing.
They're in the divisional. How much could I get for it?
Oh, 6 figures.
They're in the AFC and NFC championship game. Then we're approaching $1 million, right? We're probably
Yeah, well, not that much.
$500,000?
Probably,
Yeah.
Maybe a little less, maybe $250,000.
You'd
Why would
sell
you
in a
not do
heartbeat.
that, Brown?
Well, I mean, Lance just told me all I got to do
All you gotta do is get them both to
is get them
postseason.
both in the postseason, and I've made a tidy
Yep.
little profit. But now again,
How is this not a source of income
because
for us?
if Justin Herbert
Well,
gets
you do
hurt
this-
week 3, what are you going to do? Who's their backup?
You do this exercise every year, and you've
Yeah.
never won it. It's the one
But
thing
that's
you have never
me.
won.
Why don't you take?
No, but how difficult is it just to, not a Super Bowl matchup, just telling me 2 teams that will be in the postseason?
Okay, real quick in the chat room,
all right.
your input. Would it be smart for Double Down Media to take $10,000, bet on the Rams and Chargers to make to be the Super Bowl matchup,
At
then
129-1.
At 129-1, and then if they both make the postseason, we can sell it off for what?
You said 50 grand.
I would think you probably could get 50 grand at that point. Yes.
Let's ask Fuhrman when he comes on. He could probably give us a good solid answer. Yeah, 50 grand.
5-1.
5-1.
So now we've.
So do you know now? Look,
Christmas bonuses for everybody.
Yeah. Do you know how much you would hold your breath every game that the quarterback doesn't get hurt?
Oh yeah, for 17 weeks.
Yeah, and quarterbacks get hurt all the time, by the way.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I have never known a company to thrive from wagering. Trust me, we ain't in that situation, but that would be fun.
There's a reason why I do not run any of the business up here. I'm here for show content only. Okay, more odds, and then we'll move into the news of the day here. What was the last one I gave you?
We need
Rams Chargers 129 to 1.
Raiders Seahawks will be next.
Barely. Raiders Seahawks are next at 1,155 to 1.
Jeez.
Okay. Now you guys are adamant.
I think it's probably going to be New York next.
Nope. The next one is Denver and New Orleans, 1,214 to 1, very close to the other one. And then the last one,
2,500 to 1.
Giants and Jets, 4,255 to 1.
That's crazy.
That's odds. No way Jets and Giants make it.
No, but that's another one. Like if you just did $100 on that one and they both made the playoffs, I think you're probably close to the same boat Lance was talking about.
Yeah, that's insanity. NFL, we are July 31st is the Hall of Fame game. We're about, I think it's 95 days away from the start of the season today, and we'll get to that coming up a little bit. We won't get to it in a little bit, 95 days away. We probably won't get to the Browns today, but Kenny Pickett, according to reports from Browns camp, is leading the quarterback room there 3 days into OTAs.
Is that going to be the story all summer there?
To the big stories in terrible.
By the way, I
terrible
think,
collection of quarterbacks.
Kenny Pickett with a healthy Nick Chubb, I think Cleveland could be decent.
Could be decent.
Yeah.
You got some name for it there. It could be decent.
Kenny Pickett with a healthy Chubb would have been a great transition to an old sponsor of ours. But we'll tell you about our friends at Twin Peaks, where it's also a good transition. Tell us about Twin Peaks.
Twin Peaks, great place to go. Watch all the NBA postseason action. We got a big Game 6 coming up tomorrow night back in Indiana with the Pacers and the Knicks. Remember, if you're bored at work right now, the countdown to Miss Twin Peaks 2025 is on. Voting for Miss Popular officially live. Head over to the 2025 MissTwinPeaks.com. Learn more about the contest. Cast your top 5 votes for your favorite Twin Peaks girls. And no one does happy hour like Twin Peaks. You want to get off work a little early on a Friday, whatever your preference is. They've got everything from tequila cocktails and extensive bourbon category to top shelf spirits and cocktails served over the ice balls, local craft beers, handcrafted whiskey cocktails, round out an adventurous drink menu second to none. And don't forget about the 29-degree drafts, all from our friends at Twin Peaks.
Okay, we'll talk about the SEC meetings in the next segment. We'll get to that. Greg Sankey talking more about everything going on in the world of the Southeastern Conference and the playoffs and all that. We'll hear from Destin and the SEC commissioner with his 3rd or 4th press conference this week. Greg's up at a microphone every day at the SEC meetings. But I want to talk postseason here. And before I do that, I want to say congratulations to one of our great sponsors, Greg from Pell City. He is on his way to Albertville, Alabama this morning to marry off his 5th child. Now, if you're following along and you know the story of Greg and his wonderful wife, Andrea, they have 10 children. He's marrying off his 5th child this weekend, which means he's only halfway through the marrying off of all of his kids. This is the first boy to get married. That is Paul.
Oof. Thank goodness you get a break on that one.
Paul Nelson, who's one of the young men at Storm Restoration Roofing that'll crawl onto your rooftop and give you a free no-cost roof inspection. That's his lovely bride-to-be, Sophie. Auburn fan, by the way. Greg, big Alabama guy, I think. Marriage is happening this weekend in Albertville, and Greg says, hey, when you talk about Storm Restoration Roofing today, can you point out to your great listeners and viewers that this is only the 5th of 10 kids I've got to get married off? Please call my business for your roofing needs so I can marry off the other 5 kids and be able to afford all these weddings. He says at least this one's a boy. It's less expensive
That's
than
right.
the other 4 have been.
You only do the dinner the night before,
Yeah,
right?
there's a rehearsal dinner get expensive on you.
They're not free.
Congratulations to Paul and Sophie happening this weekend in Albertville. We hope the sun shines on you guys more than tomorrow, but for your entire marriage. Storm Restoration Roofing, when it's not always sunny, get on the rooftop. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, A-plus rated with the Better Business Bureau, 205-542-3531. A-plus rated, as I said, locally owned for over 20 years. There's Andrea and Greg down lower left with a chunky Jim Dunaway. The free no-cost roof inspection is a great place to start. Full roof replacement when it ages and gets too old. Roofing repair, storm damage. He's got a builder's license. He also, Greg, will get on your roof. Paul will too when he's not wrapped around Sophie's finger. We'll get up there and give you a free no-cost roof inspection as well. Greg from Pell City on Facebook or Storm Restoration Roofing, 205-542-3531.
Yeah, if you ever want to know how expensive a wedding is, if you've seen the movie The Mule, they turned Clint Eastwood into a mule where he could just pay for his granddaughter's bar.
That is true.
How about that?
Risk his life. I talked to a guy recently. The bar tab for one of his daughter's wedding was $15,000
$15,000.
just for the bar tab.
Ouch.
Open bar, man. People will go after it.
Keep in mind, I got a 24-year-old daughter.
Yep, I got 2 daughters, Jim.
Yeah, so here we go. All right, here we go. The postseason. Let's do the one that is the least complicated and the one that's going to upset me the most, and that's basketball. Charles Baker, the NCAA president. Remember, they're not in charge of the football postseason, the NCAA, but they are in charge of the basketball postseason. It's how they make their money. And he says by 2026, it is very likely we will go from 68 to either 72 or 76 teams in the NCAA tournament. This will turn into, instead of the first 4 games in Dayton, it'll turn into the first 12 games. These extra teams, extra games will all play on that Tuesday, Wednesday, feeding into the main bracket on Thursday and Friday. Can you handle that, or do you want to say no?
No, it's stupid. I mean, this screams money grab. You know, it's one thing in college football when we're big consumers and you take it from 2 to 4 to 12 and maybe ultimately 16. I think we can all get on board on that. And I think that's great for the consumer. The playing games are awful. They are absolutely awful. I agree with Brown. Well, I do.
They're not in the tournament.
Yeah.
You finally come around.
Yeah, if you don't win the game, then you're not in the tournament.
That's right.
Yeah, but
Thank you,
this is
Lance.
just
Welcome
more teams
aboard.
that aren't in the tournament.
Yeah, they can't screw up the most American sports thing there is, which is the bracket.
That's
when,
right.
When everybody fills
Yeah.
out the bracket. You can't screw that up.
Well, you're about to add more of the / like Syracuse / Louisville.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know who's actually in.
My job more difficult in Calcutta's doing the bidding.
That's right.
Yeah.
I'm sure that was never
Just
done.
more worthless teams,
I'm
Charlie
sure that
Baker.
was not brought up in the meetings. Guys, we've got to worry about the Calcuttas here. Hey, so I'm going to ask you a series of questions you probably don't know the answer to.
I may surprise you too.
Okay.
I'm
Yeah.
taking these nootropics now. I don't
what?
these
Nootropics?
nootropics.
What is that?
These are things that help you with your brain.
Okay.
Keeps you sharp, and
All right.
I think I've been really good the last few weeks on the show here. So go ahead.
Well, you were off last week, so I've only
Well,
got this
I
short
forgot-
week to go
I
on.
forgot
You
that.
were great last week.
I forgot that.
All right. Is it pouches?
Yeah, I use the pouch form.
Yeah.
Put a little between my cheek and gum.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with that. Are all these games going to be played in Dayton? Do you know that?
They will not be.
Okay, where will they be played? Are they going to be
different
played on the sites?
Different sites.
So, in other words, like if I'm in one of these games and I'm in the Spokane region, I'll go play this game in Spokane? Is that the thought?
They will keep games in Dayton, but they will be sort of spread out so we can get them all in one day.
Okay.
And they will be potted around the country.
Okay.
Yes.
That was question number one. Very good. You answered that one. Question number two. These new games, are these going to be all the 11 seeds playing for the actual 11 seed, all the 10 seeds playing for the actual 10 seed, or are we going to ship more 16 seeds in here?
To be determined.
Okay.
But the TV partners would like all the 16s.
Yeah, and that sucks. See, that's what
I have to play their way in.
And that's what I don't like about this. That sucks for the 16s. You know, for years, the 16s have been guaranteed a spot in this tournament. And now we've said, okay, well, maybe we'll only guarantee 2 of them. But now you're not going to guarantee any of them. And that sucks for those schools. Those schools one has won a game all time, right? Two have won a game all time, 2 16 seeds. So it's not like they're competitive, but they have an automatic berth. I mean, it literally says it right there. If you play in the American East and you win our league, you get an automatic berth. And to me, it sucks for these kids that are not good enough to play at Kentucky or Kansas. Heck, they're not even good enough to play at Creighton or a Mo Valley school. They're only good enough to play in an American East school. And now you're taking the NCAA tournament away from them.
But for our viewership, would it not be better to get to play 4 games of 15 versus 16, 15 versus 16, 15 versus 16, 15 versus 16 on Tuesday and Wednesday and get them out of the way for the tournament?
I don't know. You know, the St. Peter's, Alabama State, or the Xavier, Texas play-in, I mean, they're both the same to me. They do absolutely nothing for me.
But that gives us a better – I guess it doesn't really give us that much better of a game on Thursday
We
and
just need
Friday
to go back
either.
to 64.
Yeah.
Well, that's never going to happen.
Never going to happen.
Yeah. Charles Baker's blaming this on the power conferences, the SEC and the Big Ten, who have expanded and to get more teams in down the road. Now, Greg Sankey has hinted his goal one day is to get all 16 teams in. But he thought last year was a unicorn. Well, if you go to 72 or 76, there is a realistic possibility one year you could have all 16 SEC teams in, and I'm sure the chat room is saying, why have a regular season then?
I mean, it's just let everyone in the tournament. You know, we've seen that model before. What is there, 330 odd teams?
Yep.
Find a way to bracket everybody in.
Well, and and Landmine Believer is onto something here. This is going to happen. He goes super local with this, but he's like, I can't wait to see 30-4 UAB get left out for 17-15 LSU. Like, you would think this would help a one-bid league like the American, okay? Let's say we've got UAB, who's not quite as good as Memphis. They play Memphis the championship game. They lose by 10. You would say, oh, this expanded tournament, UAB is going to get. No, you're just going to go to the bottom of the Big Ten and the SEC and get more of those teams.
Yeah, if you went, hey, you can only have Group 5 teams, I could sign up for it better than getting a 17-15 LSU.
I still don't love it, but I like it more.
Yeah, I mean, I would rather have the 30-2 Drake that lost in their championship game getting in than the 17-15 LSU that has been average the entire year.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't think you're going to get any better games, and I know what you're saying is at least you're going to have 1 through 64 of named teams is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Now, no longer do I have Monmouth in.
Yeah, but 17-15 LSU playing Duke looks better in the old TV guide than St. Peter's playing Duke.
Yeah. I ran across old TV guides the other day. I had to show the kids. I was like, cleaning out parents' old house, went by there, and there was like there was a bunch of TV guides.
Yeah.
And I showed the kids, this is how you used to figure out what you were going to watch.
That's how you knew what was on the TV.
Yeah, I mean, but look, there's no exaggeration here. Have you guys ever come across somebody that's like, man, I really like the 68 model as opposed to 64?
No, I don't find myself watching the play-in games. I'm with Lance. Like, I do. The 16 seed playing games are probably better because I haven't seen those teams suck all year. Like the battle for the 11 seed, I saw Texas suck a lot last year, and they were playing. Who was it? Xavier. Yeah.
To your point, one of those 16 teams is about to get to the NCAA.
That's right. Yeah, and they're playing.
and they're going to win a game right here.
Yeah. And they haven't been terrible all year. They have been good enough to win their league. And I'm watching some other teams slop around that weren't even good enough to get in the tournament.
Yeah. So that looks like it's going to happen. And money grab was the word we talked about. Broadcasting Insiders says the TV partners, which is CBS
and Turner,
adding more teams will bring them zero value.
So, wait a minute.
Yeah.
So we're going to expand this, and they're not going to get any more TV money out of it?
Charlie Baker and some others, maybe in the SEC or Big Ten office, thinks it'll bring more money. But according to the story I was reading today, I believe it was in Yahoo Sports, the TV Insider says zero extra money, if any at all. It would be minuscule.
Pocket change.
Well, we need to prove that to Charlie Baker and everyone else, and maybe this thing will go away.
That doesn't make a whole lot of sense that you would do it.
Why would you?
If your TV partners hadn't already said, oh, no, we would pay big money for that.
Speaking of money, one more thing in this segment, and then we'll talk college football playoffs and where we're headed. all the models that are out there, the one that's gaining momentum and talk SEC meetings, Todd Fuhrman at 10. Before we do the one more money thing in this segment, tell us about our friends at Bojangles, Brownie.
Jimmy D, it can be bow time for you anytime, but lunch is next on the schedule for you. So swing by Bojangles and get some of those great tenders. By the way, they got great dipping sauces too, from sweet to heat. Bojangles has 7 sauces that will definitely add a little extra flavor to every bite. Nothing pairs better with the sauces than the hand-breaded tenders. So if you're looking for sweet, try honey mustard or add some tang with barbecue. If you want some heat, try creamy buffalo or peach honey pepper. And if you're craving smooth and creamy house-made ranch, jalapeno ranch, or classic bow sauce, ready and waiting. So head to Bojangles, order some hand-breaded tenders with your favorite sauce today. It's bow time.
If I asked you,
Ask me.
is there one basketball player in the SEC that's going to make $6 million next year, would you say yes or no?
I was told that Boogie Flynn to come out of the draft was going to demand that kind of money. Then I was told by the smart basketball people like Jeff Goodman that you're stupid to believe that. So
It's not Boogie Flynn.
Okay, so I guess
But it is his team.
Alex Condon?
Nope. It's a guy that a lot of people are going to know soon, but he played 3 years at Princeton. Xavier Lee.
Wait a minute. I'm paying a Princeton guy?
Xavier Lee is getting $6 million, the transfer guard. He has a $6 million deal between Florida's NIL Collective and international shoe brand Serious Player Only.
What?
He's the first college player ever to sign an international shoe deal. He is good enough to play in the NBA someday. He is likely going to start for Florida.
Lance chuckled at that.
He's likely going to start. This is a dude that averaged 17 in the Ivy League.
Yeah. You don't think he'll start at Florida?
Well, I mean, he might start at Florida, but is he worth that money?
Yeah, if I'm paying $6 million, if he gets $6 million, he better
This has
start.
got to be international flair, right?
Most of this is the shoe deal, the international shoe deal, but he's going to make $6 million this year and likely get his own signature shoe at some point from Serious Player Only, which I've never heard of.
I'm just Googled it. Tyler, Google Serious Player Only. Do an image search for these. These are bold-colored shoes.
Now, he was born in Toronto and came to the United States in Pennsylvania, played a little high school, and he's at Princeton for 3 years. They didn't make the NCAA tournament last year.
No, they were middle of the pack in the Ivy League. I will say this kid will never start in the NBA.
Yep.
And he's now the highest-paid NIL player we've ever had.
Now, it is working because I didn't know anything about Serious Player Only until this very moment.
Yep.
Now, that's not to say I'm going to go order some of their shoes because I don't even know what the price point are on these things.
Now, I don't know his
That'd be $180 per pair.
So that's going to be a no for me, dog.
Well, that's middle of the road, right? Yeah, I mean, that's
about standard for a basketball shoe.
Yeah, that's middle of the road.
It's high road for what I pay for shoes, but I am not your gauge here. I kind of those right there. Keep no in the middle right there, right there. I kind of like those.
The Cinderellas.
Yeah, summer colors, dare I say.
I don't hate those.
Yeah,
that's very North Carolina.
Yeah, but
I can pay you monthly with Klarma.
It looks like a dangerous shoe to order based on the fact that you've probably never worn it before, and it looks like it could be ultra comfortable or it could be
that's right.
Yeah,
not comfortable.
Did you say Klarma?
Klarna.
Klarna?
Yeah. It's a Swedish company that lets people kind of do these like interest-free loans. Like you can split the shoe payment up into 4 payments, and they're going under because a lot of people are just not paying on their payments.
That is so surprising.
I would say
defaulting on their shoe loans.
Yeah, I mean two ways here, Jeeves. If you've got to pay for your shoes in 4 payments, you probably shouldn't be buying the shoes.
That would be alert number 1. Yes.
And whoever came up with this business model, let's loan money to people that don't have money.
Let's loan money at no interest to people that don't have money.
How do you make money with no interest?
I'm not sure what their plan was.
Who came up with this idea?
I don't know, somebody in Sweden.
I mean, I did not get my MBA from Jacksonville State University, but even I know that if I'm going to loan money for somebody to buy shoes, I probably need to charge some interest on it.
I mean, Sweden, is that where we have those bank accounts where we put illegal money?
Switzerland.
That's Switzerland, okay. Or the Bahamas.
Okay. I was just thinking maybe money laundering. You get the dirty money to a shoe company and then you bring in clean money? I don't know.
That's a good thought.
If there's no interest, I don't understand how you make any money off
Well, I mean,
it.
people, if they haven't gone out of business yet, people are flocking to them right now hearing
Let me
this.
hurry up
Let's
and
get
get
some
my
free
loan.
shoes.
That's right.
There might be interest, but there's no way that they actually like draw it from your bank account if you don't choose to pay it. So
that I don't have to set up direct withdrawals. I
yeah,
can
you
just
don't have to set up direct deposit for some reason.
This was an ill-conceived company. I will definitely say.
If I see two,
I've worked with a couple of these.
if I see two tall, blonde-haired, blue-eyed guys dressed in Swedish outfits walking down the sidewalk, they're coming to collect.
They're riding a bicycle down the street.
They're going to cut your feet off.
Unbelievable.
With the shoes on them.
Anyway, $6 million player in the SEC. And that's why collectives have to deal with the players on their school. Wait, I read where Xavier Lee is getting $6 million. How come I'm only getting $1.2 million?
That's exactly what I would be saying.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Well, I mean, if I'm Todd Pettiford, this kid from Princeton couldn't even get him to the tournament.
Yeah.
People are saying you can do this through Verbo.
Yeah, there's like a lot of places that take Klarna and Affirm and PayPal, paying for it.
So
and all
there's
this other
literally
stuff.
nothing attached to it except the vacation I just took, and they think they don't think everybody's going to pay it back.
Well, I don't know. I guess it depends on the company because Affirm might draw from your bank account.
Oh, they may.
Report
I don't know.
to your credit or something.
How about that?
Things I didn't know today.
Yeah, I learned something.
When we come back, 5 plus 11 and 4 plus 4 plus 2 plus 2 plus 1 plus 3, or
I
the
don't
4
like that
plus
one.
4 plus 3 plus 3 plus 1 plus 1. These are all college football playoff models that we likely will decide in June. We'll talk about that, SEC meetings, and Todd Fuhrman still to come. Show being brought to you by a couple of great sponsors. One of them, our friends at Company Distilling. You met them on the show yesterday. There's a new Bama and Bourbon that's up with Aaron Suttles Lance and the folks from Company Distilling.
Yes, fantastic bourbon. We all had the opportunity to sample this yesterday. And then we did have a Bama and Bourbon. Check that out. But big news, Alabama Company Distilling now available. ABC stores across the state. If you've been wanting or waiting to try a whiskey that is good as Company to keep, this is your moment. Find your bottle. Learn more at companydistilling.com/Alabama. Must be 21 or older. Please enjoy responsibly. Jeff Arnett, the master distiller at Company Distilling, former master distiller of Jack Daniels, was actually in studio with us doing that Bama and Bourbon yesterday. He's going to be at Store 53 in Madison today from 4:30 until 6, signing bottles, telling stories, and talking whiskey. For more details, visit companydistilling.com/Alabama. Must be 21 plus. Please drink responsibly.
Hey, when it comes time to redo that home in your that room in your home that no longer is functional or looks the way you want it to look, AlabamaBathRemodels.com is where you find my guy Brad Bell. It was the master bath in the Brown house. Scott shows you before and afters all the time. It just wasn't as updated as my wife and I wanted it. We kind of wanted darker colors. It was lighter colors. So my wife, scoured the internet looking for the right person for the job. She found Brad Bell. He did tremendous work in her house. He could do the same for you. Let me tell you what he specializes in: master bath, kitchen, and master bedroom closets. Master bath, kitchen, and master bedroom closets. That's not to say it's all he does, but it is certainly his specialty. And he can come do it for you. The reason I point those rooms out, and it's his specialty, is those rooms will add a lot of value when you go to sell your house, and you'll enjoy them while you own them. You spend a lot of time in those rooms. You can call Brad, 205-422-1758, 205-422-1758, or AlabamaBathRemodels.com. That's AlabamaBathRemodels.com.
Call the next round now at 205-734-0923.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
Hey, you. Days warming up, looking like spring. And at New Balance Birmingham, we've got the thing. What pops and what's fresh? Check the selects. Come together at New Balance Birmingham on Highway 280, right next to Chick-fil-A. New Balance Birmingham, we got now.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations, Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood. Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
If you're looking to expand business and inform the Next Round audience about your exciting brand, contact us. Send an email to sales@nextroundlive.com to be a part of the team and advertise your product to hundreds of thousands of potential customers on our ever-expanding platform. Join our existing partners in the fastest-growing media space, both live and on demand, and reach the most desirable audience for your business. Get information and more by emailing sales@nextroundlive.com, and one of our team members will work with you to take your business to the next level with the Next Round.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between 2 warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try chicken and bowberry waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
Just because you've quit going to the gym, it doesn't mean that you have to quit gym altogether. Dunaway, that is. With our Next Round podcasts open 24/7, 365, you can access gym anytime you'd like. While you may have done away with your treadmill routine, our version of Dunaway is standing by ready to get you back to your absolute best. Find all that lovely Jimmy D-led content on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and in the podcast section of nextroundlive.com. This message is sponsored by Jimmy Crypto Inc. and Jimmy Crypto for President.
As we all know, there's no off-season when it comes to college football. If you want to stay in the know with all things Alabama, join us over on covercrimson.com and get $25 off your annual subscription. We'll keep you up to date and give you exclusive content all the way to the first Saturday of football season on covercrimson.com.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Hey, back with you on the Next Round. We're about to talk college football playoffs and stuff. Brandon Marcello has a poll up. Which college football playoff format do you prefer? And it looks like math problems when you were in the 3rd grade. It's a confusing time. We'll talk about that in just a second as the SEC meetings wind down. Before I tell you about New Life Art and great moments going on there and a new release coming from Daniel A. Moore. I saw it last night for the first time. But before I tell you about that, the worst out-of-conference schedule from a playoff contender I have ever seen in college football.
The worst out-of-conference schedule from a contender. So
like a Bill Snyder-like worst, like absolute joke.
You tell me a year,
difficult.
Indiana,
Okay.
who was in the playoffs last year, 3 out-of-conference games, and Forrester and I were texting last night laughing about these games.
Okay.
Old Dominion, Kennesaw State, Indiana State.
That's pretty bad.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
It's hard
It does not get much worse than that.
Nope.
Are 2 of those FCS? Who's Division One in that group?
Indiana State's the only FCS.
So
Kennesaw State's Conference USA. Old Dominion is Sun Belt or Conference USA?
I have no idea. I thought they were still playing FCS.
Nope. That is
okay. So it's at least 2 FBS teams.
Yep. I'm sorry if they are 10-2 this year.
No, can't let them in.
Cannot let them in.
Because you told me you thought you were going to suck.
Yeah.
Now, I don't necessarily blame this on Signetti because these schedules are made so far in advance. Like, I don't, did he campaign to get out of one of these and play somebody better? I don't know.
I would
but
bet
he didn't
I would
make this schedule.
I would bet no.
I would bet no, but he didn't make the schedule either.
Forrester and I were just joking last night. If you're Indiana football, why the hell do you even make that graphic and send it out?
Really?
I'd be hiding that one in the darkness of night, Forrester.
Please
right?
laugh at me.
That's what got me. Like, why do you draw attention to this?
Yeah.
I said that's the only 3 they play. They don't have a.
No. Remember, they got 9 conference games.
Yeah, but if I'm Signetti, he didn't put that schedule together.
No, he didn't.
Yeah.
No, he did. No, he
But
didn't.
again,
I would embrace it. I would say, hey, moving forward, this is some bullshit, dog. I'm going with more difficult out of conference.
That's not who he is, though. He chose this job because he knew he could win 10 games the first year. He said that. I was in my bed at James Madison with my wife, and I looked at her and I said, this schedule looks like we can win 10 games next year. I think I should take this job.
Well, he would be the only person that would have said that.
Yeah, not many people would have said that. I would agree with Lance.
Yeah, I mean, Indiana was 3 wins the season before.
He said to my wife, if I take this job and bring 25 of my players with me that already know to play.
New Life Art brings you part of the show. We talk football all the time. Daniel A. Moore has dusted off that, what's it called? It's the thing you paint on.
Canvas?
The canvas. Dusted off the canvas. The
I
paint
saw
brushes.
this last night, and this is going to sell.
Buzzer beater is what it is.
Oh, look at that.
New Life Art limited edition. Buzzer beater. That's a Mark Sears right there. Biggest win in Alabama basketball history, Forrester. I'm kidding. It was a Final Four team down there on the plains, and it was a hell of a basketball game, and it's remembered forever now by DanielMooreArt.com, DanielMooreArt.com, promo code TNR. If I'm Grant Nelson, I'm a little upset. It makes it look like I'm just standing there watching the action. I'm not running. I'm not doing anything.
No, but he could say, hey, this is the confidence we had in Sears back in the day. On the road,
That's right. I just
the
watched
most hostile of hostile environments.
Me and Nate Oates were just watching.
The degree of difficulty on that shot.
Yeah, 0.6, 91.91, and Sears drops it in there. You can get that other great works at DanielMooreArt.com, promo code TNR, and our buddy Alexander Shunnarah. They bring you all the big news when it comes to saving you in a crisis when you need an attorney.
Well, if you find yourself in need of a lawyer, call the Alexander Shunnarah Trial Attorneys. First of all, you pay nothing unless they win your case. Shunnarah.com, Shunnarah.com. For the website there, their elite trial lawyers have recovered more than $2 billion, maintaining Alexander's core values of integrity, mastery, passion, and success. Alexander Shunnarah Trial Attorneys, a national firm with Southern roots, headquartered in Birmingham. More than 24 years, they've grown to more than 150 lawyers, supported by more than 500 dedicated team members, and they can work for you. Shunnarah.com, Shunnarah.com.
Here's Greg Sankey at the SEC meetings yesterday on the timeline for a new playoff format. Keep in mind, June 18th, the college football playoff folks get together for a new meeting, new format discussions out there. Sankey says it's better to do it sooner rather than later, I assume. Right, Commish? Tyler, hit that button, man.
So let's begin with the end in mind, quoting Stephen Covey, right? I know, and whether I should have said this or not, I think to November 30th, December 1, as I recall, we need to make a decision about 26. So that's a destination point. Point one. Point two, I've said, for our purpose, it would be nice if it would be earlier. Observation related to that. I think if you have to go slow to go fast, you do that. And that's part of our communication here. I shared we don't need more ideas, we need really focused thought on what the issues are. And part of my conversation with you today is here's an issue. I think there's some good consideration being done at the CFP level in looking at the criteria. We'll have an opportunity for that conversation next time we gather. So that becomes the starting point with the knowledge of that destination. Whether something changes or not, whether there are other format ideas introduced, we looked at some of those that have been introduced. As I said, we've had interest in some. We don't have any interest in others. And we'll see if we generate some of our own or if others generate some new ideas as well in this process.
So let me cut through this, I think. 5+11, you read everywhere from ESPN to CBS Sports to Saturday Down South to On3 Sports that the 5-11 model is gaining momentum. Five automatic bids, conference champions, and 11 at-large bids. That only happens, the SEC, I believe, signs off on that brownie if as he's discussing, how we decide the best teams to be in the playoff, how we decide that. And I get the feeling the SEC will be glad to sign off on the 5+11 if we have a way to factor in strength of schedule fairly. And I think that is going back to some computer system.
So you think the SEC is okay with 5 automatics plus 11 at larges if
we go back to like the old BCS?
If it's a BCS type poll.
No selection. Strength of schedule, it factored in. And they're not humans that can screw you over.
Yeah, because, I mean, let's just go back to the final rankings before the college football playoff last year. Obviously, Georgia wins it, so they get the auto. Texas is in.
Yep.
Tennessee's in.
Yep.
Alabama's in.
Mm-hmm.
Ole Miss is in.
Mm-hmm.
South Carolina's in.
I've counted 6 right there. So you've got almost half the playoffs.
Yeah, and that was
with the committee.
But I think it would have been skewed. I think the committee probably plays around with 3-loss Ole Miss and 3-loss South Carolina, and maybe even 3-loss Alabama.
Yeah, like who's right behind them that could have been?
Yeah, I was about to ask that. Who's next?
This is where it gets difficult because Clemson got in. Behind that, Iowa State, who played for the Big 12, at 10-3, do they get in?
Nope.
BYU, who doesn't play at 10-2, they don't get in. Missouri, obviously, they don't get in. Syracuse, Army.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think either way last year, the SEC would have been fine.
But I do think there would have been some case that Iowa State played for the Big 12 championship, whatever the last of those 6 SEC teams. Let's put Iowa State in and leave South Carolina out.
Here's the problem for the Big 12 is you don't have brands. Because I was going to say if this was the Big 12, this certain team, if it's old school Big 12 Oklahoma gets in.
Now, but in what you just read me, the Big 10 still only gets the same 4 they got in, right?
There was a gap, right?
Oregon, Ohio State, Indiana.
Oregon, Penn State, Ohio State, Indiana.
And that was it. Because their next team was way
Illinois
down.
at 20.
Yeah, Illinois wasn't particularly close.
Yeah, I mean, the SEC should sign up for this anyway.
I agree.
I would much rather have the 5-11 than 4-4. What is it? 3, 2,
you got to tell me what those
1.
are.
Okay, there's a 4-4-2-2 plus 1-3, which is 4 Big 10, 4 SEC, 2 Big 12, 2 ACC, 1 Group of 5, 3 at large. Now,
I
mean, at that point,
again,
you're guaranteed 4 SEC, 4 Big 10, 2 Big 12, 2 ACC, 1 Group of 5. The 3 at large could also be SEC.
Okay, so the ACC is guaranteed too. Did you say Big 12 is guaranteed too?
Yes.
Okay.
Lance, can you envision a time where a top 16 ranking, like if we just sat down and did these are the best 16 teams in the country, a legitimate group of people did that, whether it's a big group of voters, whatever, but we said these are the 16 best, regardless of who won conference championship, these are the 16 best, and it doesn't include 4 Big 10 and 4 SEC. Could you ever foresee that
No,
happen?
I can't.
I really can't either.
But I just want to go back to 2023.
Okay.
If that was the model, the ACC, you're forced with 2, Florida State without a quarterback, and then you've got a 4-loss Louisville team would be in it.
That's going to suck.
Big 12, you've got Texas, who was in it anyway, and then you've got a 4-loss Oklahoma State team.
Yeah. I mean, you're going to get some crappy teams in there. So we do that with the NCAA basketball tournament.
But I think that shows you we don't care as long as there's money. I mean, we're
so your point is you'd rather have
I'd rather have
5
all at
and
large.
11.
Yeah.
5 and 11.
Yeah, I think that's the way to go.
Because it feels like this 5-11 is something the Big Ten and the SEC rolled out thinking they'll never go for this, but let's just throw it out there and start the conversation. And for some reason, the ACC and the Big 12 are like, oh, no, we'll take that one. And Greg Sankey and Tony Petitti are like, I cannot believe they bit this. Yeah. Because it benefits – like the SEC or the Big Ten, like we're going to have at least 4 in either way, but we can get more in the 6-11.
If they go by strength of schedule. Now, if you've got 13 humans in there, and we know how the committee works sometimes you're going to end up with somebody from, a group of 5 AD or an Ivy League AD. I don't know why we'd let them on, but we'd have somebody on there that is going to think, man, we shouldn't have 6 SEC teams in, or we shouldn't have 6 Big Ten teams in.
No, I like this. You know why, too? We go back to the conference championship game. It makes it relevant again.
Or
obviously
does it?
I think it does, because if you win, you're in.
Yeah.
But Greg Sankey's told us before that there's no way in an expanded playoff
for the SEC or Big Ten
that our SEC team loser is going to be
left out. They won't be.
But how big is it for the ACC and Big 12?
Well, they made those games better this year. Yeah.
But Texas and Alabama don't play this year, right?
They do not.
They don't. If Texas goes undefeated 8-0 in the conference, and Alabama goes undefeated 8-0 in the conference, and you don't have a conference championship game, who gets the spot?
Co-champions. Who gets the automatic spot?
No. Who gets the automatic spot? I don't know that it would matter at that point because they're both going to be in, and you're going to seed not based on who's conference champion.
Yeah.
So I don't guess it really matters, does it?
But usually in fine print, it would be whoever is highest ranked by the College Football Playoff Committee.
Yeah, they would technically get the spot, but it doesn't mean they get the higher seed, right? We're not doing that anymore. Like the 5-11, those seeds, they could be seeded anywhere from 1 to 12,
That's
right?
The 5 can be anywhere, yeah.
So I do think the 5-11 lands diminishes the conference championship game because it really doesn't matter anymore who gets that spot because you're going to be seeded based on your accomplishment at that point.
Now, you say the SEC and the Big Ten's okay with this. Brad Yormark says the Big 12's athletic directors unanimously agree that they want the 5+11 model. So they're all in on the 5-11.
Okay. I think the SEC and the Big Ten would sign up today.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that is the case. I don't know if that's the case.
Why would they not?
Well,
I think the fear is of having a lot of 2-loss Big 12 teams because it's such parity in the league.
Well, how many are you going to have?
How many 2-loss teams they have last year?
So let's just do this
3
real
last
quick.
year, I think.
Yeah, but I mean, all 3 of those would be in every single year.
Okay, so how many did we have based on
Big 12? Big 12.
How many did we have based on the final rankings in the SEC? It was 5, right? Or was it 6?
6.
It was 6.
Uh-huh.
So in 2023, well, I mean, this is hard because Texas and Oklahoma are part of the Big 12, but Alabama wins the SEC.
Mm-hmm.
Georgia, Missouri at 9, Ole Miss at 11, LSU at 13.
I got 5.
That's 5.
5. I mean,
yeah. And then Tennessee would be next at 21. But I think every year you're going to get at least 4.
You are.
I don't think you're going to find a year where you wouldn't get at least 4.
Which is why I think if you go to the 4 guaranteed, the SEC's like, okay, we're good with that.
Okay,
you know,
but if
what are we getting out of
got
it?
4 that's guaranteed in the SEC, but the Big 12 is also getting in 3, that's when we get back to the path to get there. It's harder in the SEC and the Big 10 than it is maybe in the Big 12 or the ACC. You know, the old discussion, are we putting the 16 best teams in there or not?
Yeah. I just feel like the 5 of this, the 5-11, the 5 is irrelevant. How often is a conference champion and one of the major 4 not going to be in the top 16?
Most likely when it happens, it's going to be the Big 12.
You don't think a Big 12 champion would be in the top 16?
I think there's a chance this year, Brown, that the Big 12 champion is not going to be in the top 16.
This might have been the most unique year, 2022, when TCU played for a national championship.
Okay, Big 12 team, by the way.
You had Georgia, and this is that is week 15. Let's see here. Okay, here we go. Georgia.
Yep.
Alabama at 5. Tennessee at 6.
Uh-huh. Is that it? That can't be it.
That's it.
No.
That's it.
In the top 16, there are only 3 SEC teams?
LSU was 17. South Carolina was 19.
Where was Texas?
Well, Texas was Big 12, but they were 20.
Okay. Oh, where's Oklahoma?
Yeah. Oklahoma was not ranked.
Ooh.
Now, where do these other teams come from? Michigan, Ohio State, Penn State. That's
Wisconsin.
Man.
No. That's it. Pac-12 would have benefited.
Yeah, but there are a lot of Big Ten teams there now.
Yeah, Utah, USC,
Big 12, Big 10.
Penn State was in there. Washington, Oregon State, and Oregon.
I would have hated that playoff.
Yeah, we all would have. We'll see what they decide. June 18th is the next big date there. And the reason why the SEC wants to go ahead and get this decided, because they want to go to 9 conference games. And if they decide on June 18th, this is my belief, Jim Dunaway's belief, if on June 18th, sometime in June and July, we announce a new playoff format that is 16 teams and it's to the liking of the SEC commissioner, you'll also hear that in 2026, we will go to 9 conference games in the Southeastern Conference. If they don't get this settled before the end of summer, the SEC will move forward with 8 conference games until that's decided on something they're comfortable with, throwing an extra possible loss with every SEC team into the mix for that 9th conference game. Just my opinion. When we come back, Todd Fuhrman, show being brought to you by a couple of great folks. One of them is our friends at Hemphill. They bring you the lock every day. Tell us about Hemphill.
Yeah, 205-229-2090. Make sure that HVAC unit is ready to keep up with the changing weather. Whether you experience plumbing, heating, or cooling issues in your home or business, they are ready to serve you. Call Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys there, 205-229-2090. Hard to stop a train. For more information, hemphillservices.com.
And our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama, UCA, staying on top of your health, guys. Do it. Do it next week. I know it's the weekend now. Your mind is somewhere else. But promise me on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, sometime next week, you sign up to get checked out with our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Literally could save your life. 205-930-0920. 930-0920, urologycentersalabama.com. 16 locations, one near you, 35 urologists, prostate health, kidney stones, vasectomies, everything. Urology Centers Alabama. urologycentersalabama.com.
Everything Next Round is on demand now in the podcast section at nextroundlive.com.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. I mean, where else are the scenic views as good as your view of the game? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Hey, let me tell you about our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Compassionate and comprehensive urological care with 35 physicians, 17 locations across Alabama. Their patient-centered approach to all of your urological needs. Remember, they've got that new men's health center. It is beautiful, helping men with a wide range of sensitive male issues in a comfortable environment. You can always go online, visit urologycentersalabama.com, schedule an appointment with one of their many urologists today.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between two warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try chicken and bowberry waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
Hey, for all of your IT and printing needs, reach out to our friends at Xerox Business Solutions. Look, I'm still one of those old school guys. I print my notes every single day for the show. If you watch the show here on the Next Round, you see all the notes in front of me. From day one, Xerox Business Solutions, they've been with us here at the Next Round. Local for over 45 years. For all of your IT and printing needs, visit XeroxBusinessSolutions.com or call 205-969-3000. That's 205-969-3000.
All right, Auburn fans, I want you to become a member of thebarnauburn.com and join in on the fun. Whether it's recruiting discussions, off-season chatter, or the latest Auburn athletics news, we've got it all. Get $25 off your annual subscription when you sign up for your account at thebarnauburn.com today. War Eagle.
When you crave activity like we do, you belong in the Roback family. Get the best golf wear, hoodies, and activewear for men and women at Roback.com. Use promo code TNR20 to get 20% off your order. That's Roback.com, promo code TNR20.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemphill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemphill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemphill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemphill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the next round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
85 days away from the start of the college football season, 92 days away from Alabama-Auburn's first game, the first big weekend of college football. Baseball starts today, the road to Omaha. The Women's World Series was so exciting yesterday. We're about to talk to Todd Fuhrman about the NBA and the Stanley Cup Finals and all that. Odie's a great place to watch all that this weekend.
Yes, Odie's Tavern, live music tonight and tomorrow night. Of course, incredible food from Rodney Davis every single day. He's been doing it for more than 35 years. Award-winning wings, delicious burgers, great sandwiches like the Diablo sandwich, ice-cold beer buckets, the Odie's famous cocktails. Get in, see Will Haver. 2 locations, the original Crestline, newest location, Edgewood. Birmingham Institution is Odie's Tavern.
All right, Todd Fuhrman, bettheboardpodcast.com, bettheboardpodcast.com, with us each week on the Shunnarah Attorney Hotline. Welcome in, Fuhrman. How are you?
I'm doing well, gentlemen. And to Dunaway's point, Brownie, college football numbers widely available for those week 0, week 1 matchups, and Auburn will be in arguably one of the bigger showcase games of the opening weekend as a 2.5-point road favorite on the road in Waco against Baylor, and a quarterback in Sawyer Robertson generating all sorts of buzz this offseason.
Well, let's start right there, Fuhrman, at Todd Fuhrman on social media, because we have talked, this is a really, really difficult game. I think, Lance, you thought it might come out a little skinnier than 2.5?
Well, I mean, it did. I think it came out at 1.5, and maybe it's bounced up to 2.5. But, I mean, it's basically a coin flip game.
I mean, to your point, a big game week 1 and a tough start for Auburn on the road Friday night in Waco.
I think a measuring stick game for 2 programs that have aspirations to do some special things in conference. We know the pressure, as you guys can attest to, ratcheting up on the Plains, given how disappointing Auburn was for extended stretches last year. And this is a Baylor team that, you know, if things didn't improve down the stretch the way they did, there was talk that Dave Aranda could be out as head coach there. Now an offensive-minded team. Can their defense live up to some of those expectations? And aside right now, mentioned amongst some of the favorites in the Big 12 to come away and win that league, along with Kansas State, Tech, Arizona State, and, of course, Utah as well.
You know, this Texas-Ohio State is probably where most people thought the number would be. Ohio State, your defending national champions, only a 3-point favorite. Arch Manning, his first real start on the road. I mean, this game's fascinating because I would say I feel good about Ohio State at home, but for a defending national champion, only laying 3 against a quarterback making his first big road start, it seems like a lot of value.
You know, interesting game because at 2.5, I would have had no problem betting Ohio State now, tying up that number and figuring out what to do with it closer to kickoff on August 30th. But sitting at a field goal, I think odds makers have kind of done their job. When you mention the level of inexperience at the quarterback spot, it makes that total at 50.5 that much more intriguing. I know Ohio State can have to break in what'll feel like an entirely new defense, a new defensive coordinator, so there inevitably could be some growing pains. But if Steve Sarkisian and that Texas staff elects to err on the side of being more conservative with Arch at the shoe in a game of this magnitude, you know, that's a big total to try and get over, especially with the early kickoff. So where the market currently sits, kind of 3 and 50.5 painted, I'd lean under the total. But no doubt, whoever comes out victorious, the quarterback of the winning team, will most likely see their odds to win the Heisman Trophy shortened substantially, as both Julian Sayin and Arch Manning amongst the favorites as we sit here in late May.
By the time we get to the game in Tallahassee between Alabama and Florida State, 2:30 on ABC, Alabama fans will be lathered up enough to think they're going to win the national championship for sure. LT is, the more he talks, I feel like that number goes from 9 to 10 to 11. It may be 21 by the time we get to Tallahassee. Where's Alabama, Florida State on your radar?
I think the number continues to climb. It's relatively cheap, in my opinion, right now with Alabama under that 2-touchdown threshold, kind of sitting in that as low as 11.5 at some prominent books, upwards of 13 at other national shops. Florida State going to be going through a little bit of an adjustment period. Thomas Castellanos going to take over as their starting quarterback. More of a dual threat, and I use that term relatively loosely since he's kind of a run-first option. I think Florida State's path to success in this game is going to have to be shortening the contest, limiting possessions, because Alabama right now for me is a team that's flown under the radar a little bit nationally. Now, I know that odds have shortened on them to win the SEC, kind of listed behind Texas and Georgia in that second tier. Meanwhile, for Florida State, their win total has already taken substantial money under at 7.5 where it opened. And I think a pivotal season for Coach Norvell. But I would be stunned if Florida State's able to pull off that, huge upset and kickstart their campaign. I think Alabama, with an entire offseason of prep, will be ready for what Florida State will throw at them.
Todd Fuhrman, bettheboardpodcast.com for all the games and the racing action. Very good there as well. Bettheboardpodcast.com. Always follow him on social media, @Todd Fuhrman. He's with us on the Alexander Shunnarah Trial Attorneys Hotline. Was there a game when when the week 0 and week 1 lines are out and active that you've been telling people it's going to be closer than you think, and it hit, and it was closer than we thought? Is there a surprise line out there for some people, you think?
I won't say it's a huge surprise, but the way people are talking about North Carolina and all of the Bill Belichick distractions, they may as well fold up their college football program and just forfeit all 12 regular season games. But you can understand why TCU took some money when that number opened around a full field goal for the standalone time slot on Labor Day. The 3 down to 1.5, and while I'm not sure who ultimately prevails in that football game, wouldn't be surprised at all if TCU closes as a favorite there, in that 1.5, 2 range. TCU actually a buy-on team from some professional bettors early, given the level of experience that they expect. They'll pay dividends for Josh Hoover under center. Always difficult for a first-year head coach to bring in a quarterback after that spring portal window in Gio Lopez. And I know it's a quarterback that you guys have seen in Lopez down in South Alabama. Let's see if he's able to take the next step in his development against stiffer competition. Another number in one of those marquee games that at least appears a little bit short, despite not knowing the starting quarterback for the Fighting Irish. Look, I'm not bullish on Miami. I'm not ready to say that Carson Beck is officially done, but I'm always worried about a quarterback that hasn't gone through a full throwing program. And I think it's one of the bigger coaching mismatches that we are going to see in week 1. So being able to lay that short number with Notre Dame under a field goal, albeit in sweltering humidity, even with a 7:30 Eastern kickoff, feels a bit short for Marcus Freeman and the Golden Domers.
I love the way you describe that. Marcus Freeman versus Mario Cristobal, one of the biggest coaching mismatches we'll see in week 1. Those were your words there, right?
Exactly. I don't have the utmost confidence in Mario being able to put together a game plan. And I think for all the naysayers out there for Marcus Freeman and some of the games that Notre Dame had lost in his first couple of years as big favorites, he has no doubt earned the benefit of the doubt in the grand scheme of things, although this will be an Irish team that looks a little bit different, especially without Al Golden there as their defensive coordinator.
So, Fuhrman, we kicked off the show talking about the NFL, and we are 2 months away from the Hall of Fame matchup. It's difficult enough to pick one team that's going to win a conference, but we had the exact Super Bowl matchups in LA, Rams, Chargers at 129-1. We were talking about this. If you bought, let's just say, $1,000 ticket, and you get both of those teams to the postseason, what do you think you could flip that ticket for at 129-1?
It'll all depend on the path that they have in front of them. If you're a number 1 seed in your respective conference, that road gets significantly easier, as we know with the bye. But that price would come down substantially. But at the same time, a lot of these numbers in the NFL futures market, especially when you're looking at how top-heavy some of these conferences have been, there's always a chance that both teams get into the playoff, even as division winners, which I know for the Chargers is a little bit more of an uphill battle than it will be for the Rams, that you could still be looking at that exact kind of in that 50-55-1 range. So it's tough to really flip those tickets, even if you get both teams into the playoffs, until you get into the respective conference finals and have a chance to get that thing across the finish line.
You want Dunaway's business plan?
I'm afraid of Dunaway's business plan because I'm sure there have been 40 or 50 people that have already tried it and haven't had that level of success.
Probably.
That doesn't stop us from jumping off the deep end on a Friday.
Well, I'm just saying, as a small business that we are, if we took, say, 10,000 of discretionary funds.
That's right.
And we placed it on
petty cash, Jim. It's petty cash.
We just go back there. So we don't have to sign off with 2 signatures, $9,999. We go back there, pull it out of the vault, and we place it on Rams Chargers to make the Super Bowl. And we get to that point and we pull it out. We just make a little profit off that. Why is that not a great business model?
I think there are better ways that you could probably choose to invest $999,000 Dunaway over the next we'll call it 6+ months during football season and find an avenue that you could profit slightly more handsomely than coming up with that. But I applaud you thinking outside the box. I'm just disappointed, Dunaway, that you didn't try and convince your partners in crime that you guys should be pulling $100,000 out of the vault to try and enter the Circa Survivor Grandissimo contest out here that they expect to have 20 to 25 heavy hitters to try and win one of the most lucrative, at least entry fees for a legal Survivor contest in recent memory.
My gosh, a Survivor contest? How deep does it normally go? Like, how far in the season do you have to go?
Well, this is the first year they've done one with that kind of entry. So typically it's $1,000, which is a little bit more modest, or a lot more in most cases. They wanted to try and do things to the next level. So $100,000 entry. They're anticipating anywhere from 20 to 30 folks. And I would really be surprised if it went past, somewhere week 8 to week 10, especially if we had chaos early on.
I promise you, anytime I'm in one of those, it's done by week 2.
There's a lot of people. Yeah, week 1 is always find that most obvious game and don't play it, because that is the one it seems like it cleans out half the field. I've done the super contest before, Fuhrman, a couple of times, and I mean, you got to hit 70% to win that thing. It's crazy.
Yeah, it gets tougher and tougher for the pick fives, and as these fields get bigger and bigger, you have more of those contestants with statistical outliers, to your point, LT, that you need to hit 70%, and people look at it and go, oh, they're stale lines. They get set on Wednesday or Thursday. I encourage anyone that's ever done that, of the office pool variety or playing against some of the better NFL handicappers that are out there, there is a level of game theory, a level of luck, and a level of commitment that most folks won't be able to get to. So you have to work pretty hard to be able to cash those things and finish in the black with a 7-figure payout.
So Thunder have wrapped up the West, back in the NBA Finals for the first time since 2012. We get a Game 6 tomorrow night in Indiana with the Pacers and the Knicks. Is there a liability team that is left amongst the three?
Not so much from speaking to some of the guys in town. The Knicks, for a joint or two, may have a little bit of a headache just given how popular they can be with long shot prices when they were available upwards of 40 or 50 to 1. I mean, the Pacers had massive numbers that were widely available for long stretches, but, not a team that garners that much in the way of interest in the betting market. So Oklahoma City, a relative short shot, especially with their hot start out of the gates. I mean, this was a team right around the trade deadline. You still could have had around even money to win the Western Conference. And I think people will kind of be blown away that don't look at the numbers to see how big a favorite Oklahoma City will actually be in the NBA Finals. If they do get the Pacers, they'll be close to $8, meaning you have to put up $8 to win $1 coming back. And if they get the Knicks, that will be more in the $7 range, meaning put up $7 to make $1. So if you're hoping for a little bit of drama and intrigue, it would have to be a Herculean historic level upset for the Eastern Conference representative to knock off OKC.
All right, 2 quick questions for me. Number 1, we got news this week that Todd Pettiford would have returned to Auburn and LeBaron Philon to Alabama. Probably not much move on their overall odds to win the conference or the national championship.
Ooh, but I think it changed Alabama a lot.
Oh, Jim thinks it changed Alabama a lot in the odds. What did it do?
I saw Alabama as high as 50 to 1 at some books. I'm looking right now, kind of see 35 as the consensus. So it did have a little bit of a change from an overall probability standpoint. Not that substantial when you talk about big numbers. Maybe Jim saw a bigger price out there. And when you look at Auburn, largely unchanged, upwards of 30 to 1, early on in the process, down to 25. I do think it's fascinating because you have a logjam of teams kind of in that 11 to 1, upwards of 20. No real overwhelming favorite as things currently sit, but the Dukes, Purdue's, Houston's of the world that are there. For me, if I'm looking a little bit further down the board, I think a team like Wisconsin that actually showed a lot of offensive mettle last season. They had a couple of key pieces that they were able to land and retain at 60 to 1. If I was tying up my money for the better part of almost 300 days, I think the Badgers at 60 to 1 would be the closest I'd get there.
I saw my buddy Gary Parrish with CBS Sports moved Alabama up 10 spots ahead of Auburn in his 25+1 ranking. Torvik's rating had Alabama moving up higher ahead of Auburn with Philon coming back. So that's why I said that. It's interesting to see what the numbers are that it's still Auburn slightly ahead of Alabama. That's interesting.
Yeah, it's always a game of where some of the liabilities are and how odds makers are kind of approaching it. And when you look at kind of how bunched up a lot of this stuff is in college basketball this far out, it's intriguing to see which teams they want to attract a little bit of action on. But for the most part, you want to try and take bets on any team on the board you possibly can. this far out, because if you start to accumulate liability, you'll have the better part of 9 months to be able to shed some of that, move teams around accordingly, and try and keep some of those buzzworthy teams, whether it's a Louisville or St. John's, going into the season from getting away from you, that you're working in the red from now until we get into the latter stages of March Madness in early April.
All right, Todd Fuhrman, bettheboardpodcast.com for all the games. Bitcoin, Fuhrman, is just off an all-time high right now, trading somewhere around $105,000 per coin. Are you buy or sell right now?
I mean, I have to ask Dunaway. I mean, he's the E.F. Hutton and the Warren Buffett of the next round staff there. So, Dunaway, are you going long,
you've got
or
to
are you
sell
shorting?
at some point before President Trump is out of office, because it's going
that's
to.
That's going to be another 3 years, though. Last I checked.
You got a
you have
while
inside
there.
information
I'm just saying
that I
you
don't
got to
know
make
about.
you got to figure out when this is going to be at its peak, because this stuff will not exist in 3 years.
Oh, that's
Bitcoin will go away.
I'm doubling down then, Brownie. That's all I needed to know. That I'm doubling down on Bitcoin, and that is going to be my long-term retirement strategy. Now that Dunaway has told me it's not going to exist in 3 years.
Sell your house and put it all on Bitcoin right now.
Time for a little HELOC and a reverse mortgage to try and create some liquidity that's going right into Bitcoin.
Okay, before you go, Fuhrman, I know you bounce around to sports venues and stuff. You've traveled well. I saw on Major League Baseball on the MLB Network team, TV5 in our studio here earlier. You know, they have those empty stadium shots as bumpers go into commercial break and stuff. Chase Field with that small little pool in right field there in Phoenix. That makes no sense to me. I know the Jaguars at one time, I don't know if they still do, upper deck pool area to watch football games. What's the quirkiest, worst thing in a stadium you've ever seen? Those two are on top of my list. I don't understand why you have pools inside stadiums at either one of those places. Is there a thing in a stadium that you don't understand?
I can take you one step further to what we have out here in Las Vegas. Not only do you have booths that are supposed to recreate that nightclub atmosphere at Raiders games, it'll cost you a cool $50,000 thereabouts to be in the Wynn Lounge during the regular season. In T-Mobile Arena, home of the Golden Knights and a variety of other, college basketball games and events that come through, there is an offshoot of Hyde nightclub that pretty much puts you on the same level as being 10,000 feet above the arena. If I'm going to a sporting event, I want better sight lines. If I want to go to a nightclub, I'm going to go to a nightclub. So that's something that they put in there to create a little bit of Vegas cachet. I'd probably rather sit in the pool at Chase Field than I would be to watch a major sporting event from Hyde Lounge at T-Mobile Arena.
Okay, wow. There you go. I apologize. I said I had this was it, but I was not looking at the chat. Walker, real quick, won't say College World Series pick out of you. He said he took UNC at plus 525 and would like your thoughts there.
So I don't dislike the UNC play. The number a little bit shorter than what I'm looking for, but for me, I actually have a full portfolio, none of which I'm overly optimistic are going to be able to make a deep run. So I'll rattle them all off for you guys. I have a little bit of Oregon at a price tag right around 30-1, very similar to Clemson, although I didn't love Clemson drawing LSU potentially in the Super Regional, if that's the matchup they get. I think Ole Miss's path is relatively favorable. I know you're kind of buying it at the top, but 35-1 offered a little bit of opportunity. And two longer shots that are on the board. I know Southern Miss will host the regional, but there's a reason that they're not an odds-on favorite in that particular spot. Have a little bit of the Golden Eagles at 75-1, and Northeastern, the real Cinderella, who rattled off one of the longest win streaks in college baseball this year. And I'm not sure that Florida State, after Jamie Arnold, is going to be that tough and out. So I like the chances there, albeit having to get through Mississippi State, not an easy task either. Upwards of 100-1. And in terms of the regionals, just if you're looking to tie up money for short term this weekend, did take a little bit of UC Irvine, like them at a price better than 2-1 to come out of the LA regional, with UCLA, who's the number 1 seed there, Arizona State the 3, and Fresno State, the Mountain West champion, the 4.
People are always amazed at the crap Fuhrman throws out, and they're like, so y'all give him a heads up? I'm like, he never knows. We just talked about Bitcoin, the College World Series, and Week 1 college football lines.
And bad stadium sightlines.
Bad stadium sightlines.
A wealth of useless knowledge, gentlemen. Some of us have to excel in skills. That apparently was my gift, for better or worse.
All right, bettheboardpodcast.com, bettheboardpodcast.com, at Todd Fuhrman on social media. I didn't just ask the Bitcoin question out of the blue. Fuhrman actually follows that as well. Do you discuss that at Bet the Board? Do you discuss it anywhere on social media or anywhere?
No, I really don't. I mean, that's one thing. I mean, my background actually is in economics, but never really got into discussing financial advice in any capacity. And ironically enough, having a gambling affiliation and being in this business for as long as I've been, that was my first exposure to Bitcoin, because in the old days, if you wanted to try and work with some of the offshore books, that was the most seamless way to create a transaction. And by hook or by crook and a little bit of blind luck back in 2016, that was kind of my first exposure to crypto. Wish I never sold any of my coins or used it to bet. But either way, it has been one of those things that you call a fortuitous bounce in the grand scheme of things for diversification.
All right. At Todd Fuhrman on social media for all that stuff. At Todd Fuhrman. Fuhrman, have a great weekend. We always appreciate the time. See you next week.
Always a pleasure, gentlemen. You guys do the same.
All right, buddy. Take care. Fuhrman with us on the Alexander Shunnarah Trial Attorneys Hotline.
You know, I was looking at the numbers in the regionals. There's only one SEC team that's an underdog.
Yeah.
Alabama?
No.
Okay. Who?
Alabama plays Miami today.
Oh, I thought you meant in their actual.
No.
Okay.
I'm just talking about in their first matchup,
Wow.
Kentucky against West Virginia, and it was a pick.
Yeah.
West Virginia stretched out to -130, but I mean there are some massive favorites out of the SEC.
A lot to get to as we wind down to our final 90 minutes of the week. Some great sponsors we need to talk about here, including our buddy Dr. B.
Dr. B, if you start thinning out, this is the guy you need to call. Maybe you're in your 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s. It can happen anytime for you. Dr. Beckenstein is the guy. I called. I do that non-invasive treatment 3 times a week, 30 minutes each time on the couch. That is it. My hair is more than doubled in thickness. 205-319-0316. 205-319-0316. Tell them the next round sent you. T3's got that new test. It's easy, painless, affordable, takes seconds to perform. It's going to show which medicines and compounds will specifically work for your hair loss. There are over 10 categories of agents they use, knowing they will work for you. They will custom compound these agents for you in pill or topical forms. You pick and choose which agents you want. Men and women ordering Hims, other products online, don't even know if they work. Stop wasting your money. Critical time while you're losing hair on treatments that aren't working for you. Go see Dr. B. Find out what will work for you. 205-319-0316 or t3hair.net.
And our Bojangles Tender Moment of the Day, Brownie.
It is presented by our friends at Bojangles. You like those dipping sauces, right? From sweet to heat. Bojangles has 7 sauces that will definitely add a little extra flavor to every bite. Nothing pairs better with those than the hand-breaded tenders you get at Bojangles. So if you're looking for sweet, try honey mustard. Add some tang with barbecue. You want some heat? Try creamy buffalo or peach honey pepper. And if you're craving smooth and creamy, house-made ranch, jalapeno ranch, or classic Bo sauce, that's the play for you. So head to Bojangles, order some hand-breaded tenders with your favorite sauce today. It's Bo time.
We're going to go 3 pictures from Forrester here as our tender moment. First off, do you have Sarah Ashley Barker last night?
She's been getting some starting time.
Yeah, plays with the LA Sparks now. Local girl Jay Barker, our former coworker, longtime friend's daughter. She got to throw out the first pitch at the Los Angeles Angels game. And she had a good time out there, so she's enjoying that L.A. lifestyle out there.
That's really cool.
That's a pretty big deal. It's a Major League Baseball first pitch.
Yeah, so she's with the Sparks getting playing time, and I see her excelling there as a rookie with the L.A. Sparks there, so good for her. Forrester, you'll need to go back to yesterday, maybe 2 days ago. Oklahoma State won the – you don't have that anymore? Okay, Oklahoma State won the golf championship.
Great program historically, yeah.
12th national championship. They sent out a guns up photo with all 12 of their national championship rings on one hand.
That's
it was
a flex.
A cowboy dozen, they called it right there.
So Oklahoma State or Georgia, historically?
Oh, Oklahoma State's the much better program. They've won more national championships. Now, I would say Georgia recently has put more guys on tour, but Oak State's got they got the jewelry.
Speaking of golf, do you have the Max Homa golf cover head? Not every event is the Masters, Brownie. At the Memorial now, Chipotle sponsorship, he's got a driver cover that looks like a Chipotle burrito.
And he's got T-Mobile on his arm.
They're not afraid to sponsor it up, Lance.
So I ask you, Brownie, Chipotle burrito golf cover head, if he was at Augusta, would they make him remove that?
Oh, no, not at all.
He could roll around with that?
He could roll around with that. Now, if you're a guest of a member at Augusta, they might say something, but no, on tour, they're good with that.
Did Scheffler win last weekend?
No.
On the tour?
No, he did not.
He did not.
Last weekend's winner was Ben Griffin. It's a guy that had, depending on how factual this story is, and apparently there's some people that overplay this story, Ben Griffin played at North Carolina, left and went into the mortgage broker business, basically gave up on professional golf and was like, I'm not ready to give up on my dream. So he went back and earned his way back on tour and won the team event earlier this year, won the individual event at Colonial this past weekend. And I haven't checked the leaderboard today, but he was in the lead after round 1 at the Memorial yesterday.
Memorial's going on. That's Jack's tournament. Scotty Scheffler, who's been pretty darn good, right?
Oh, yeah, best we've seen since Tiger.
It's funny you say that. Scotty Scheffler has to win 56 of his next 109 starts. He's got to win 56 of his next 109 starts.
Not going to happen.
To catch Tiger's record of 71 wins in his 250 starts.
Yeah.
That's
I don't need to get Fuhrman back on here.
But Scheffler is only 2 back of Ben Griffin, who will tee off at 12 o'clock. Scheffler's 3 under through 5 today.
So he's off to the start.
So if he does that, he's only got to win 54 of his next 108. That would be an incredible run. That's how good Tiger Woods was. And for some reason, it's in my algorithm now of Tiger Woods is in my algorithm now on TikTok. So just great shots from his history.
Oh, that's a long history.
Oh, my God. He hit, I don't know where they were, but he hit a 3-wood off the deck over a creek. I think it was the Masters, over a creek, landing it onto the green. 3-wood from out of nowhere, under a tree, around a corner. He hit a 184 wedge shot. Those were the last 2 I saw on my TikTok last night. He had a pitching wedge and hit it 184 yards.
That was pretty good.
They said on the broadcast, it was a young Tiger, too. There was like, he's got a pitching wedge. They're like, you can't hit a pitching wedge 184 yards. He must be trying to lay it out there.
Nope.
And then he took a whack at it and curved it around the trees up onto the green. And they were like, oh, my God, that's one of the more incredible shots I've ever seen.
Yeah, just get ready.
Yeah, it's tremendous. Viewing menu every day brought to you by our friends at Michelson Laser Vision. What is Tyler watching this weekend after LT tells us about Michelson?
Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jim Michelson, best in the business. Make the call that I made more than 2 decades ago, 205-969-8100. Ask for Amy. She's going to hook you up with a hassle-free consultation. You have 0 to lose to find out if LASIK is right for you. 205-969-8100 or MichelsonLaserVision.com.
So I was scrolling through my AMC app this morning, and I came across a new movie that I didn't even know about. It's called Tornado. It's a sort of samurai revenge movie. When her father's puppet samurai show gets ambushed by a notorious gang, Tornado vows to seek revengeance and forge her own destiny by stealing their ill-gotten gold.
How did you miss this?
I can't believe you're just now seeing this.
So it has nothing to do with storms?
Yeah.
No.
Tell Josh Pate.
Tornado.
Stop Josh Pate before he goes.
That would have
And
been
Tim
confusing.
Roth plays the villain.
Plays a good villain. I don't know if you ever saw Rob Roy.
I didn't see that one.
Worth the watch.
And then also another movie that I just came across. I was scrolling through Prime, and this movie is leaving Prime this weekend, so I had to watch it, and that's 1994's Street Fighter the movie with Jean-Claude Van Damme as Colonel Guile.
Missed
You
that
guys
one,
seen
too.
it?
I have not seen it, no.
Oh, it is very bad, but I love it. And
Very bad, but I love it.
Yes, it is cheesy and awful, but it's fun. And
Sometimes I think you like to inflict pain on yourself. There's a word for that. I don't know what it's called.
I cannot
Masochistic?
say masochistic.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you, Tyler.
Like some of the things you choose to watch, and it's so bad you like it. You say that a lot, it seems like. That's so bad I liked it. I know there's a whole genre of horror movies, right? That is so bad that it's entertaining.
Yeah, there's B horror movies, which are just goofy and stupid, but they're a lot of fun. But Street Fighter the movie falls in that weird sort of time where everybody was trying to make a video game movie, but nobody knew how to make a good one. So you ended up with like Mortal Kombat, the Super Mario Brothers movie with John Leguizamo as Luigi, and also Street Fighter the movie with Jean-Claude Van Damme.
I try to think in life what is something that is so bad that I like it. And I guess for me, it's golf. I mean, I'm so bad at it, but I still go and do it. That sort of is like
that's different. Yeah. You hope to improve your.
That's
golf
right. You have shown improvement.
I go into Street Fighter the movie knowing it's garbage. It has been garbage since 1994, and
complete
it will
waste
be
of time.
Garbage 30 years from now. But some other movies leaving Prime this week are Jerry Maguire, Reservoir Dogs, and Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. All good movies.
I've never seen Fear and Loathing.
I really like it. It's Johnny Depp and Benicio del Toro.
Yeah, because he plays
Hunter S. Thompson.
Yeah. Do you need to be like, on shrooms or acid or something to enjoy it?
I was completely sober when I saw it for the first time, and I enjoyed
sober?
it.
All right.
And then finally, tomorrow night on Netflix, they're having a big live event with Lady Gaga performing, and it is their Ta-Dum event. And
What is Ta-Dum?
That is apparently if you spell out the Netflix sound when you start up a show.
Ta-dum. Okay,
Ta-dum.
I got you.
Ta-dum.
Gotcha.
So if you're looking for news about new Netflix titles like Emily in Paris, Guillermo
Wait,
del
another
Toro,
season of Emily in Paris is coming?
there's going to be news and exclusive reveals about
Look
it. So,
out.
tomorrow at 7, you should tune into Netflix.
7 Central?
Yes.
Okay.
Emily in Paris, Happy Gilmore 2, the new Frankenstein movie, Love is Blind, One Piece, Outer Banks, Squid Game, Stranger Things, America's Sweethearts, Dallas Cowboys Cheerleaders, and the new Knives Out movie, and Wednesday, and WWE.
Yeah. Got good news that Hacks is getting a 5th season. So I got that yesterday. So all good. Don't forget basketball Saturday night. You get the Knicks back in Indianapolis as they try to finish that off. When we come back, we've got a Big Ten coach that just moments ago on social media taking a shot at the Southeastern Conference. That's always fun. We've got 4 downs. We've got our 40 and 40 team still to go. We've got our Shunnarah Spotlight. Stick around. The show being brought to you by our friends at Woodhouse. LT, take us to break with our friends at Woodhouse. It's time to Netflix and chill at Woodhouse.
Sure, Dunaway. Hey, look, maybe you're going on,
I don't think I used that right.
Yeah,
I don't think so.
Guy outing, going on that golf trip, maybe just going deep sea fishing with the fellows. You want to make sure the wife or girlfriend is taken care of. You can give her the gift of luxury from Birmingham's best day spa, Woodhouse Day Spa, located at the Summit Shopping Centers right off of Highway 280. Let her choose from a menu of over 70 options, including massages, body treatment, skincare, waxing, nail services. Woodhouse Day Spa, voted America's best day spa since 2009. You can stop in Summit Shopping Centers, check out their beautiful location, tell them the next round sent you, or you can shop online 24/7, birmingham.woodhousespas.com. That's birmingham.woodhousespas.com.
Follow Scott Forrester on Twitter at Scott Forrester TV.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
Your representation states that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
By now, you guys know how I feel about my fashion. However, did you know that I care about your fashion choices? Cargo shorts are out, flip-flops are only appropriate on the boat, and please throw away that stained t-shirt from college. You may be thinking, EG, that's all I own. What do I do? Here's what you do. Go to nextround.store and fill your cart with a wardrobe that is approved by me. Stock up on logo t-shirts, hoodies for football season, and hats for every day of the week. Trust me on this one and head over to nextround.store to get stocked up for this season.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
Looking to expand your business? Let the Next Round help you. Contact us, sales@nextroundlive.com, and be part of the team. Advertise your product to hundreds of thousands of potential customers on our ever-expanding platforms. The Next Round can take your business to the next level. Join our existing partners in the fastest-growing media space, both live and on demand, while reaching the most desirable audience for your business. Get more information by emailing sales@nextroundlive.com, and one of our team members will work with you to build a plan to take your business to the next level using the Next Round.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between 2 warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try chicken and bowberry waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
The World Wide Web is a large place. Find all your favorite people and content in the same spot. NextRoundLive.com is full of wonderful tidbits about the show you know and love. Find our gear, listen to your favorite personalities, follow our socials, and enjoy your trip to NextRoundLive.com.
Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop. Rare quality, well-done service.
Want more of the show? Download the app or visit nextroundlive.com for the latest podcast, The Mystery Fifth Hour, our Not For All Ages podcast, The Last Call, and the entire Double Down Media podcast family. All at nextroundlive.com and on the Next Round app.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
We're going to run through our 40 and 40 here in our 4 downs in this segment. But first, we want to remind you we got some new gear up for you at nextround.store, LT.
Yeah, you saw the summer colors. When did we wear those? Wednesday, I think, on the show?
I think, sorry.
Yeah, Forrester had on the Carolina blue. Brown had on his Dolphins, aquamarine and orange. Dunaway had on the creamsicle orange with a little hint of pewter. And I had on the Rams soul blue and yellow. So check it out. Go to Next Round Store, and you can order all that gear. Get it ready for Father's Day. Good summer colors ready to go out the door. And we will have the hats up next week.
Yep, nextround.store. I don't know if it's everyone's screen. It's the second on my screen. You can see everyone Lance just mentioned at nextround.store. All modeled by us. What great models.
Before we get to the 4 downs, the show being brought to you in part by our friends at Lags. Lags today is going to bring us This or That, summertime edition.
Oh, yeah.
This or That, brought to you by Lags. Don't lag behind when it comes to great food.
Hey, so this weekend, whether it's breakfast, lunch, dinner, or late night, maybe you're out having a couple of beers with friends, you get the Uber to stop by Lags on the way home, grab that late night 4th meal. You can do it right there at Lags, located conveniently in Avondale, between Avondale and Cahaba Brewing, a stone's throw away from Mom's Basement. Get in, see Eric, Justin. Tell them the Next Round sent you. From the delicious burgers, the bologna sandwiches, the fantastic tots and fries, good beer selection as well. Stop in, go see our friends at Lags Eatery.
All right, so give me Forrester's mic. You too, Tyler. This is all summertime. Summertime. This or That.
Which song was that?
Ocean or lake? Forrester, you first. Ocean or lake for you?
Lake, easy. Not a beach guy.
Not a beach guy.
I don't like sand.
Tyler?
I guess ocean.
You guessed ocean? Is it sand? Do you like the salt water? I include Gulf as ocean for those that wondering. I think Gulfs are part of oceans.
I guess food more than anything.
Food, okay.
Yeah, I'm headed to the Gulf this weekend. I'm excited about it, but I'm like Scott. I just don't care to go to the beach. I'll sit by the pool, eat the good food, play
I like the pool by the beach.
That's right. I'm with you, Scott, 100%. Pool by the beach, good golf courses, good food. But that's the only reason I would go Gulf over lake.
Oh, I could see you living on the Gulf Gulf Coast sometimes, LT.
Yes, I do want to do that. I like both a lot, but the only thing better about the lake is the convenience. You know, being able to drive down, and it only takes you an hour and a half.
There's something about sitting on the beach, though, staring out at the ocean.
Beach is so much better.
I do the beach different than most people. We'll go to the pool in the morning. We'll go to a very early dinner, like 4 o'clock, and then come back and sit on the beach until the sun sets. That's the best time to be on the beach.
See, I like doing the beach with sandwiches, till about 3:30, 4 o'clock, then go hang out at the pool for a couple of hours, and then go to a later dinner.
Yeah, I miss.
We ought to go together. We never see each other.
We would not.
When you're single, the beach was so much fun. Like literally, it was basically you just took what you had to drink in a towel down there. And then you got kids, and it became a disaster having to take everything down there.
Mm-hmm.
I do miss the days where basically you just took a cooler and basically you dug a hole and stood it and peed.
Yeah, see,
or got in the water
I'm
to pee.
back to
it was
that
just
because
a drunk fest.
There was that time where I was taking the kids and I was having to take all the stuff, but now even the kids can carry the coolers, so I don't have to worry about anything.
That's right.
Watermelon or not? Forrester, you first. Watermelon or not?
I love watermelon.
I do too. Watermelon or not, Tyler?
Watermelon is one of my favorite fruits.
Yeah, watermelon.
You guys do the salt on it?
My granddad used to. I never have. I just like watermelon the way it is.
I knew I'd be too. I knew a person that sprinkled a little sugar on it.
Ooh, boy, it doesn't.
That's
really,
too much.
Well, it's sweet enough already, if you ask me.
What about you?
I like watermelon. I'll tell you what, though, when it gets just a little too ripe, that smell is awful.
I can see that. I can see that.
I like
But
watermelon.
I do like watermelon.
I didn't like it as a kid.
Really?
I would occasionally eat it when everybody would carve them up, and I'd be like, God, there's no dessert? Well, we got watermelon. Okay, I'll
That's
have
not
it.
dessert.
Well, I went and played at Farm Links here recently, and coming down off number 5, they always have a cooler of Purcell Farm watermelon sliced up in a baggie for you, and it's just perfect. You grab it and you eat it.
It's a good cold summer snack.
Yeah, it was just really, really good. So I'm a watermelon guy now. Smell of coconut or citrus? Which one do you like more by the pool or beach? Forrester, you first. Coconut or citrus?
I'll go coconut. I got no problem with a pina colada.
What about you, Tyler?
I'm going coconut as well.
Yeah.
Coconut smells like suntan oil to me, or lotion, or whatever you call that.
Yeah, but that
Sunscreen.
usually
I don't
came
know
with a
what
lot of good-looking
It
girls.
did. It
Didn't
did.
bother me.
In general,
Susan Allen, Tony
Yeah.
Lyle. I mean, it was just that coconut smell.
In general, I like the smell of citrus better than the smell of coconut.
Yeah, I like both. Both are fine with me.
Yeah. Which one's your favorite?
Pick a
hold on
side.
to this.
Coconut does remind me a little bit more of the beach, so I will lean coconut.
Swimwears, cheeks out or not?
For me or for
I do think we've dialed in the swimwear for females. This is the best ever. We should never change swimwear. Cheeks out or
I'm
not?
going to keep mine hidden.
Yeah. Mine stay in.
For viewing pleasures. Cheeks out, right?
So I went to Hawaii 2 months ago, and anyone, and I'm not exaggerating, from the age of 10 to 60, cheeks were out.
Wow.
Cheeks out. Yeah.
And I'm not, I was like, holy hell, there's 12 and 13-year-old girls walking around with thongs. But, hey, look, it depends.
But, man, we all got them.
Well, no, it depends what it looks like.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to see somebody that looks like they get beat with a bag of nickels.
Yeah, but I have freedom of eyesight. I can turn my eyes away.
You do have freedom of eyesight.
Pontoon boat or other boats? Forrester.
Other boat. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, other boat.
Other.
Yeah, I want to go fast.
Yeah, I want to go fast. Pontoon's great for the afternoon sunset cruise. Like, that's the only time I really want pontoon is afternoon sunset cruise.
Pontoon. I ran into this guy last week, and it was so funny. He had his boat down there. It was a ski nautique, and it was the loudest boat. And he's like, if you want to go fast, you need to jump on this with me. He was like, and I got my stabbing cabin in there, too.
Yeah.
He said that?
Oh, yeah. Well,
Wow,
he had his wife with him, and he was like, yeah, me and my wife, we used it yesterday.
What an awkward.
But I like the pontoon boat. I don't care anything about going
When's the last
fast.
time you used it without the wife? Pontoon or not?
Other boat.
Yeah, me too. I'm the other boat kind of guy. The last one, all-inclusive or not, Forrester?
Yeah, sure. We did an all-inclusive on our honeymoon.
Yeah, I did too on my honeymoon. I think I'm a not guy now. What about you?
Never been, but I don't think I'm an all-inclusive guy.
I'm with Tyler. I've never done an all-inclusive.
I have. The food's bad, and the liquor is watered down. So
I agree.
I would rather.
That's what I would expect.
It is definitely watered down.
I mean, I think that's what you sign up for, right?
Yeah, I mean, you're sitting there. Man, I was drinking these, these specialty vodka drinks all day in the pool, and I can't get a buzz.
I had 22 of those.
Yeah.
Yeah, same way. I did the all-inclusive once or twice maybe, and it's nice, but
I like controlling my own food. That's the thing I wouldn't like about it. Now, if you're at a joint where there's just no good restaurants around, that's different. But if I'm going somewhere where I got restaurant choices, I like making that decision.
So one example, at Sandals in the grill, the fun thing was, just drinking as much beer as you want and then having a grill on the beach where you can get a burger at any time. That was good. But
the
the good sit-down meals weren't as good, and the good cocktails weren't as good.
Our four downs today, in just a second, show being brought to you in part by our friends at Company Distilling. You had a chance to meet them yesterday on the show, and you go watch Bama and Bourbon, which is up as we speak right now on our Next Round YouTube at Next Round Live, at Next Round Live, Company Distilling.
Yeah, we had the opportunity. Jeff Arnett, Master Distiller for Company Distilling, former Master Distiller Jack Daniels, was in studio with us talking about his 3 variations of Company Distilling. Fantastic. He will be at ABC store number 53 in Madison, Alabama today, from 4:30 till 6 o'clock, signing bottles, telling stories, talking whiskey. You can now find Company Distilling in ABC stores across Alabama, also in states like Georgia, Tennessee, Florida, South Carolina, available in 9 states now. For more information, companydistilling.com/Alabama. Must be 21 plus to purchase. Please enjoy responsibly.
Okay, I've made a mistake here. We can't do 4 downs yet until we do our 40 and 40 team, right? Because you're going to have some 4 down, 40 and 40.
Bad birthdays. Bad birthdays.
Other mistake, too, Cover Crimson is where you find Bama and Bourbon, at the Cover Crimson.
Where did I say?
You said Next Round. That's okay.
Oh, is it on the Next Round
No,
site?
it's at Cover Crimson. That's where
Okay.
Bama and Bourbon lives annually.
It's on the Cover Crimson YouTube site.
Yes, Cover Crimson
Okay.
YouTube channel.
All right, let's do our 40 and 40, which is brought to you by Champions Boxing. LT will tell us about Champions Boxing after we talk about our 40 and 40 team. Forster is going to pull it up. We are all the way to number 28. And here's the unveiling of the USC Trojans.
Sad place for them to be, Lance, number 28.
Great fight song at USC.
Best fight song there is, Jim.
LT, the USC Trojans at 28. Low for them. I had them in my top 25. I'll go ahead and tell you. I think this is a year USC contends for the playoffs.
Well, I had USC just a little bit higher. I had them at 24. We've got them at 28. I think they're going to open 6-0. They've got no Ohio State. They've got no Penn State, nor do they have Indiana this year. I think they're going to be improved. Here's what it comes down to. Everybody talks about Lincoln Riley. He's lost his fastball already. The only thing he did was inherit a really good program for Bob Stoops and run with it. He did, but if you look at up until his last 2 years, if we take 2020 out of the fold because they were 9-2 at Oklahoma, he had 6 straight double-digit win seasons to open his career, including an 11-win season to open his USC tenure. And back-to-back 8-5s and 7-6, and the guy thinks, or most people just think he's dead and buried now.
What do you think was going wrong for him at USC?
It's easy. He hadn't had elite quarterback play. Go back to Baker Mayfield, 2017, wins a Heisman. 48 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. Kyler Murray, 2018, wins a Heisman. 54 touchdowns, 7 picks. Jalen Hurts, 2019, Heisman finalist. 52 touchdowns, 8 picks. Caleb Williams wins a Heisman in 2022, 52 touchdowns, 5 picks. Caleb Williams in year 2, 41 touchdowns, 5 picks. The combination of Maeva and Miller Moss last year, 35 touchdowns, 15 picks.
That's a lot.
Didn't have elite quarterback play.
Yeah.
Jade Maeva, is he going to be that guy this year? I think he's going to be better. I still don't think he's elite, but the defense is going to be much better.
Whoa, that's a lot of great quarterbacks, Brown.
It really is, and the defense has to get better. That's been the problem for them. It's interesting, Lance, that you put them at 6-0 because I was getting ready to say that middle season stretch may likely determine their whole season there. This 4-game stretch, Jim, at Illinois. Depends on how you feel about the Illini. Some people think that's this year's Indiana.
Yeah, I think right now, Illinois would be a 3-point favorite in that game.
Playing it on the road. Bye week, you host Michigan.
USC is going to be a slight favorite against Michigan in the Coliseum.
You're at Notre Dame.
USC is going to be a dog there.
And a bye week, you're at Nebraska.
It's going to be right around a pick.
So there's there's a stretch of 4 games right there. That may well determine your season right there.
Yeah, and I think if you can pull a 2-2 there,
you're
then
probably okay.
Well, then it comes down to maybe the game against Oregon, in or out, winning that game.
Well, that's a tough in or out game. So
it'd be brutal.
I'd like to go 3-1 in that 4 games.
Yeah, I don't know if 9-3 could get USC in. I think they're going to be improved. You look, DeAnton Lynn, defensive coordinator, year 1 last year. 2023, they give up 34 points per game, down to 24 points per game last year. I think they're going to be a little bit better. The defense, and I've said this, the overall team was better last year. You just didn't have elite quarterback play. If you can somehow get elite quarterback play back with the way this defense is progressing, then it'll all come together, and USC is going to be a borderline playoff team.
We got Lance versus EG week 2, by the way. Don't miss that on the schedule there. And
Southern,
and it's Clay Helton's return game.
Oh, yeah.
Clay Helton coming back to get some vengeance on
nice
the
guy.
Yeah,
I think their season is Notre Dame and and Nebraska. And I think they lose to Oregon. And it's Michigan and Nebraska. I think they lose to Notre Dame and lose to Oregon.
Yeah.
And if they can beat Michigan and if they can beat
Illinois is
Nebraska,
a really tough game.
Yeah, Illinois is a tricky game.
They're
it's on the road.
So five questionable games, 3-2 in those, and they're a playoff team. That's USC in at number 28 in our 40 and 40 countdown. Number 27 next week gets us back into the SEC, as voted on by you guys. Back an SEC team at 27 coming up on Monday's show. So tune in as we get into the top 25 midweek next week of our 40 and 40 countdown, leading us into SEC Media Days, brought to you by our wonderful friends at Champions Boxing. Every day they bring us one team in our Countdown LT.
Yeah, boxing for fitness and competition, all ages, starting at 9 years old. We were out there just a couple of days ago, going this afternoon again. 8 USA boxing certified coaches, not only in boxing, but strength and conditioning as well. Official sports boxing coordinator for the 2025 World Police and Fire Games held in Birmingham this coming July. No pressure to spar, but if you do, it's 100% controlled, safe. Team, family-oriented, helps in teaching discipline and fundamentals. We were in there working out the other day. Man came in with his 2 sons, trying to get acclimated and figure out if he wants to put his sons into Champions Boxing. Great discipline, great focus, and just a great outlet for kids that maybe don't have another activity. Stop in, see Akash, Jake, Mailman. Tell them the guys from the next round sent you.
All right, our friends at Champions Boxing there. We'll do our spotlight and our 40 and 40 coming up on the other side. Let me run through some stuff here that I haven't got to on the show that I want to get into before we're done. By the way, the Big 12 will not sell their naming rights to the private equity group. Remember, there was a conversation about being name of a private equity group, Big 12, like putting a sponsor name on the Big 12.
Phillips 66 Big 12.
That's right. They're not going to do that.
Didn't get a good enough offer.
Yeah, it sounds like they went to market with that and didn't like what they got.
Yeah, so I thought that was really interesting. You get Yankees and Dodgers this weekend in baseball. If you look at the current betting odds to win the World Series, the betting odds tell you these are the best 2 teams right now to play and win the World Series again. We had Dodgers-Yankees last year, and we get a rematch of that this weekend out in Los Angeles. And, boy, you get Ohtani and Judge starting tonight on Apple TV.
It's funny because these 2 teams are the third and fourth best records behind both the Tigers and the Phillies. People just aren't going to give the Tigers any credit until we really start getting into a stretch run. Tigers 9-1 though. That is a little shorter than I thought it would be.
The Cubs actually have as many wins as the Yankees and more than the Dodgers, so that's been another surprise.
And they're there at plus 1,500 on the board, right there ahead of teams like the Braves and others. So shout out to the Cubs who are having a special season so far. But Dodgers Yankees this weekend. By the way, Chris Sale last night, the fastest pitcher to 2,500 strikouts
ever.
I think so.
Yeah, he is. I mean, it's kind of hard to believe.
That is hard to believe. With a guy, did Nolan Ryan not play? Did I forget that? That guy used to strike out a lot of people.
Yeah, it does seem like other people
Randy
would have been
Johnson,
faster.
Randy Johnson,
Ryan.
Pedro. I mean,
so Chris Sale got his 22,500 strikeout last night. Still pitching that have more. Verlander with 3,459. Scherzer with 3,468.
Kershaw?
48, excuse me. And Clayton Kershaw, who I feel like is just hanging around to get to 3,000.
How many is he
2,974. He's 26 strikeouts away. I hope he gets 26 this year.
He will.
Yeah, I would hope so.
Well, I hope so.
Yeah, so if he doesn't get hurt.
Yeah, I hope so, because I think he could shut it down. And big discussion in baseball right now, should the Pirates trade Paul Skeens or not? They could get a big package for him. If you're the Pittsburgh Pirates, he's obviously a great draw. He's going to be a good pitcher if he stays healthy. I don't know when pitchers stay healthy anymore, though. If you're the GM of the Pittsburgh Pirates, what do you do with Paul Skeens LT?
I mean, I'm holding on to Skeens. I mean, this is a team that's 15 games under 500. He is the draw right now. You could sell this to the fan base. We're building for the future. But in my opinion, this guy's got the skill set. If he stays healthy, and I've said this before, and I said it last year, to be one of the best we've ever seen. He's that dominant. Yeah. He just doesn't get any run support right now. I mean, he's sitting at 4-5 but in 75 innings, 77 strikeouts, and he's got a 2.15 ERA, and he's below 500 right now.
Yeah. At some point, you got to decide when you're going to hold on to somebody and try to build around that person. Skeens seems like the kind of guy you'd want to do that with, Brown.
It is. I'm trying to find this stat. I've got to start favoriting stuff. I didn't think it'd come up on the show, but Paul Skeens, the start he is off to is like historic. If you look at some of the numbers, I mean, it puts him. One of them is lowest ERA by a starting pitcher in the 2020s. He's well in front of DeGrom, Bauer, Woodruff, and Clayton Kershaw. Like, everyone's got these same guys in there. The guys you just mentioned, Kershaw and Skeens, is the top of almost all the lists. Like, it's almost a historic start for this guy.
That's why he would get such a big package.
Yeah.
If he ended up being traded away, Pittsburgh could get several big players.
Yeah, but to the point that Pittsburgh had to come out and say, we are not trading this guy. You guys hush. There's nothing to that. We're not trading him. Our fans don't need to be thinking that. So, we'll see. But you could get a load for him right now.
A load. All right. Enjoy your baseball weekend if you're into that. If you're watching the Women's College World Series, fantastic drama yesterday where Tennessee was up 3-1 on Oklahoma, who's won, I think, 4 national championships in a row in Oklahoma City with all those fans, of Oklahoma fans. 3-1, 2 outs, 1 out away from sending Oklahoma to the loser's bracket on day 1. 2 people on, walk-off 3-run homer, dead center of moonshot. 4-3, Oklahoma wins it. Ole Miss, they got beat 1-0 by Texas Tech in a controversial obstruction call. Texas beat Florida 3-0. UCLA beat Oregon late night 4-2. They play softball again today at Oklahoma City. And all the NCAA baseball going on, including Auburn, who's a 4 national seed, at Plainsman Park today against Central Connecticut State, and Alabama on the road in Hattiesburg against former powerhouse Miami. All that happening on the dirt today going into your weekend. When we come back, we get to our college football spotlight. LT's got 4 downs and more college football talk on the show that's brought to you now at the top of the hour by our friends at Champy's world-famous fried chicken. Highway 119 in Alabaster. Go see Sterling and the crew. They've just opened the doors down there, and they've got lunch waiting on you. Brined overnight, cooked to order, hand-cut chicken fingers, the Mississippi Delta recipe tamales, and great customer service. Go say hello to Sterling and the crew at champyschicken.com, Highway 119 in Alabaster.
Take the next round anywhere you go with official Next Round gear. Buy yours today at nextround.store.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
Remember the name Way to Wellness if you're battling weight loss in your life. I'm Jim Dunaway from The Next Round. There was a time I was over 216 pounds until Way to Wellness helped me lose 45 pounds, and now for over 2 years, they've helped me keep that weight off. Here's their website, aplanforme.com, aplanforme.com. That's a great name for a website because there's no cookie-cutter plan. Everything is designed specifically for you. No contract, no sign-up fees, and your first consultation is free at Way to Wellness.
Do you need some refreshed college wear to represent your team this year? Shop Roback's Game Day collection that includes both Alabama and Auburn. From quarter zips to hoodies, Roback has it all. Get 20% off on us using code TNR20 at roback.com.
No matter the occasion, the Next Round store has you covered with whatever you need. Head over to nextround.store and start filling your cart up now. When you wear your gear, make sure to let us know by posting on socials, and you might just end up seeing yourself during a commercial break. Go browse now at nextround.store and place your order before the break ends.
Man, I love a good meal.
I'm Jim Dunaway. A good meal is what you get with my friend Sterling at Champy's Chicken on Highway 119 in Alabaster. We're talking great southern fried chicken, wonderful sides, hand-cut chicken fingers, po' boys, and those Mississippi Delta recipe tamales. You got a perfect menu for everybody. Champy's Chicken is perfect for watching the big game, or taking a meal to the lake house, down to the coast, or stay in the restaurant and dine in a great atmosphere. It's all made fresh to order right there on 119 in Alabaster, Champy's Chicken.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. I mean, where else are the scenic views as good as your view of the game? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between 2 warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try chicken and bowberry waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
Your representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers. Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the next round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
If you haven't noticed, there's this weird thing that's going on where the SEC and the Big Ten are working together on the future of the college football playoff. But at the same time, there's a big rivalry brewing because the Big Ten's won the last 2 national championships, where SEC people and Big Ten people are butting heads.
Like perception, just perception. I don't know if this is true, but just perception. Do you guys perceive that this is the best relationship an SEC commissioner and a Big Ten commissioner have had since we've started paying attention to this kind of thing?
I think it's – I say no.
You say no?
I say no, that it only appears to be that way because they have to work together to make the playoffs work. But in reality – they're on the opposite sides. It is Russia. It is the Soviet Union and the USA.
Well, they've always seemed that way to me, Lance. Sworn enemies, but the SEC is the USA in your analogy, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it is easier for them to work together right now because it seems like SEC, Big Ten versus everyone else.
Yeah.
So I think the optics are probably, but behind the scenes, I don't know.
Okay, let's do our spotlight here. We're gonna go to a social media flare-up today with a Big Ten coach clapping back at Greg Sankey in the SEC meetings. It's our Shunnarah Spotlight.
The College Football Spotlight.
Alexander Shunnarah, trial attorneys, a national firm with Southern roots, headquartered in Birmingham for more than 24 years. They've grown to more than 150 lawyers, supported by more than 500 dedicated team members. They've recovered more than $2 billion. One thing Alex wanted to do was create a firm that could handle any issue his community faced. The firm now handles not only any personal injury claim, but claims for fire and storm damage, bad drug and device claims, disability workers' compensation, a host of other claims. When you find yourself in need of an attorney, Alexander Shunnarah Trial Attorneys. You pay nothing unless they win your case. Shunnarah.com. That is Shunnarah.com.
Greg Sankey. .com.
A voice crack.
Greg Sankey's the SEC commissioner, and he said again yesterday several times this week that the SEC should be evaluated differently by the selection committee. They're not like other conferences. Here's the commish.
So the Sesame Street quip from Game Day a year and a half ago applies. I mean, this thing is not like any other. And so that makes me wonder about how do we analyze the strength of schedule. How playing a highly ranked opponent is not just a game, but it's a game against a highly ranked opponent, even in a conference setting. I think the number of those games, too. Anybody in the football world, so I'm not a football coach, didn't play football, will identify the week after week after week of those high-level games. It's a really big factor in the team's win and loss record, and we're just different in this universe. That creates questions about how are we being evaluated, and how do you evaluate with a small sample size across a set of conferences that are in the CFP.
Okay, so the SEC, here's Brett McMurphy tweeting today. The SEC provided a 7-page document to the media showing the regular season gauntlet that SEC teams face in league play. Says the SEC, no other conference has a regular season as grueling as the SEC's. And they break that out, and they've got charts and all of that. To which Illinois head coach Brett Bielema,
of course,
tweets back, and he has this to say right here.
Oh, that's a long tweet.
It is. Great work. Headed into the weekend, maybe have this extremely talented working group look at running the numbers on this. Number one, the last 2 to 3 years where legal,
love it,
NIL and portal transfer rules have balanced rosters like never before.
Very true, by the way. Legitimate point.
Yep.
2, look at head-to-head in the same time frame, head-to-head with Power 4, especially with a possible Big Ten versus SEC challenge that is being discussed. And number 3, there is no better reality than recent history for reality. Maybe 2025 season, playoffs and bowl matchups head-to-head. Can't wait for that press release, says Brett Bielema.
Why did the SEC feel the need to send this out?
Yeah, I'm kind of with Lance.
I mean, it's kind of weak.
Yeah, I don't know that the SEC needs press releases. I mean, I don't know what was the end game there? What were they trying to accomplish with
I
the
think
press
anybody that watches college football realizes that the SEC and the Big Ten, and more so the SEC, they do have the most difficult gauntlet.
But I think what is the table that's being set is, if we have the most difficult gauntlet, should we not have more spots in the playoffs? Remember, all this is on the precipice, by using it right, of the June 18th meeting for the college football playoffs to lay out how the playoffs are going to work 2026 moving forward. We throw away.
Yeah, but that's like saying the AFC should have more teams than the NFC because the AFC is better right now.
But is the SEC going to be traditionally better long term with the brands that they have?
I don't know. I mean, and Bielema's got a point. I mean, really, when everybody's been on more equal level playing field, Big Ten, when you look at the matchups from Alabama, Michigan, 2 years ago in the Rose Bowl, Texas, Ohio State, back-to-back national champions.
Ohio State, Tennessee.
Who is the comedian that was on with Nick Saban? I don't want to go Nick Saban.
Shane Gillis?
On Shane Gillis here,
Yeah.
but are you insinuating that the SEC was doing things illegally compared to the Big Ten in recent years? Because it sounds like that's what Brett Bielema is saying.
Yeah, probably a little bit more. Look, I mean, the Big Ten teams.
So you're telling me you believe SEC teams were doing something that Ohio State and Michigan were not doing?
I think they were better at it.
Your Honor, if I may answer for my client here. Ohio State and Michigan were trying to get the same Southern players the SEC would get. It was harder for them to come in and cheat and get them on Alabama's turf or Florida's turf or Georgia's turf or Auburn's turf. Because you were having to come to Florida where the Southern schools live, their boosters live, they know the coaches. The coaches probably grew up as Florida fans or Florida State fans or whatever. It was tougher to get those guys. Now that it's all legal, or you can get the player and develop him and I can just come pluck him off your roster, see Caleb Downs, that is going to change the game. I would like to say it wouldn't because I want to see the SEC do well, but it's going to change the game. Like now Ohio State can come to Florida and it doesn't matter. Like if I'm throwing out more money, I'm throwing out more money,
Well,
and there's
more
nothing
money.
you can do.
It's not the illegal. It's the fact that I think the Big Ten schools, it's a fact, they have bigger booster bases.
No, it was easier for the Southeastern Conference teams to cheat in the Southeast, which is where all the players are. That's where everybody's coming for players. But it was easier for me to get away with it. If Ohio State came to Georgia and they beat Georgia head-to-head for a player and both of them were cheating, Ohio State had to be really careful with that because the Georgia people are going to get pissed, and what are they going to do? Turn them in. Nobody's getting turned in now. If I'm Ohio State, all I got to do is come out and be at Georgia, and I've got a good shot at getting the kid. So I do think that's going to level the playing field. I think Bielema was right about that.
I just believe it's the Big Ten has more disposable money than most SEC
Well, then that also will even the
Maybe.
money.
I still don't think they've got the passion of the SEC.
I don't either.
So I think we, much like you wanted to put $10,000 on Rams versus Chargers, we probably overspend because of the passion.
Yeah.
And you still got to convince the players to go a long way away from home, and that is always going to be a tough sell.
You know what's going to be fascinating? Big Ten wins another national championship this year. Then the narrative really has flipped.
Oh, yeah. Because the SEC would be 3 years removed at that point since Georgia's last championship.
Would you take SEC or field right now?
I'd
I mean, the
take,
field's basically the Big Ten and Clemson. I think I would take Big Ten and Clemson.
Gosh, I don't know, Lance. Who am I getting in the Big Ten? I'm getting Ohio State.
You're getting Oregon. You're getting
and
Penn
Oregon.
State.
I mean, I could live without Penn State. I would take the SEC, I think, but boy, I wouldn't feel great about it.
Well, without Kirby's roster looking the way it's looked, without Nick Saban in the league with Alabama's roster, we have
LSU underachieving,
and we have a lot of really good teams. We don't have one that is like, dang, that team is a monster.
And
they're going to have to lose
I
it.
don't think you. Well, let me ask you this, because I was thinking about this the other night. Back to our league that we've got, with 8 of us, and we get 10 college teams that we draft.
Yeah.
If you guys had the number 1 pick, do you feel great about selecting any team right now in college football?
No, do y'all snake it?
Yeah, we snake it.
Yeah, I'd rather be further for the first time ever. I'd rather be not in the top 3 or 4.
You want to pick 8 and 9?
I don't think Ohio State went 1 last year. It didn't look good in the regular season with 2 losses, but they ultimately won the whole thing.
Yeah. At 8 and 9, Brownie, I really think I could come in there and get LSU in one of those in the 8-9 slot. Heck, I may be able to get LSU, Alabama in the 8-9 if everybody's doing it.
This puts it more perspective. Gun to head, you've got to tell me a team that will not lose 3 regular season games.
I would go Clemson.
Yeah, but Clemson's going to go high.
You sweating balls week 1 against LSU.
If they lose to LSU, because we still got to play South Carolina.
Is that who you would go?
I mean, doing a snake draft, I think if I got the 8-9 pick, I could walk out of there with LSU and either Oregon, Penn State, or Georgia.
Or if you know what you're doing on the Big 12, you could figure out the Big 12 winner. Do you feel good about Clemson not losing 3 regular season games?
I do.
It would be my number 1 pick, Lance. I'm not saying I feel great about it, but
Ohio State would be my pick.
I think Clemson might be mine too, because all you got to do is split the SEC games, and you can't find 2 more losses.
It's hard. I mean, if they get that win over LSU,
I say
I'm
that
cruising.
you've got to. I mean, we don't know how good North Carolina is going to be. Georgia Tech should be improved. Those games are on the road. You've got to go to Louisville. You got SMU and Florida State at home.
But if I beat LSU, I feel like I'm cruising to 2 wins.
I'm not sleeping though until November. With any of these.
4 downs is after we tell you about our friends at Michelson Laser Vision. Tell us about our friends at Michelson again, LT, a decision you made a couple of decades ago that literally changed your life.
Yeah, 2003, I had the 2200 vision. I was legally blind without the aid of contacts. Didn't even realize that after the procedure, which only took 12 minutes for both eyes. 2015 vision, better than 2020. Make the phone call that I made, 205-969-8100. Ask for Amy. Tell her the next round city. She's going to hook you up with a hassle-free consultation, 0 to lose, to find out if LASIK is right for you. 205-969-8100 or MichelSonLaserVision.com.
First down.
More total touchdowns this year, Jaden Maeva or Arch Manning? And I know it seems like a joke on the surface,
but you have one that's in a Lincoln Riley offense.
Right, and I threw the numbers out. Last year was kind of the outlier with 35 total touchdowns between Moss and Maeva. Arch Manning is going to be playing a more difficult schedule.
Yeah.
He's not nearly as experienced.
But it's a Sarkisian offense with some very talented green wide receivers, but it's a uber talented receiving core. I'm going to go Arch Manning.
I think I'll go Arch Manning too.
I think I would go Maeva here.
Yeah, I mean, if I knew USC's defense, you say it's going to be improved. If USC's defense is what it has been, he has to throw a lot, so I'd go Maeva. But if you think it's going to be improved, I might go Arch Manning there.
2nd down.
College football playoff faster, USC or Oklahoma?
Just because of the path, I think Oklahoma would beat USC head-to-head this year, but I'm going to say USC.
It'll be a fun game. Might get in the bowl game.
Good.
If
in the playoffs.
If it was in Norman, it would be fantastic. The Lincoln Riley burning in effigy.
Oh,
would be
yeah.
fantastic.
How good would it be if it's 9-seed USC coming to 8-seed Oklahoma? Week 1 of the playoffs. I mean, Lincoln Riley coming back to Oklahoma, you think that'd be a charged environment?
Would be great.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
I will take, in this one, I think USC. I trust Lincoln Riley, who I've seen in the playoffs a lot more than I do Venables, who I've never seen in the playoffs as a head coach.
3rd down.
More wins this year. USC the entire season, so we're including potential college playoff and or bowl, or the Chargers regular season wins.
Couldn't go Rams, could you? USC versus Chargers. I will say Chargers are a 10-win team. I'll say USC's 9.
I think you guys are sleeping on the Chargers a little bit.
10-7.
10 gets them in the playoffs.
In that division, that's a pretty good record.
I've said for a month they're going to win the AFC West.
Well, then it's going to be more than USC. I'm going to go Chargers in this one, and I think you're right. I like this Charger team because they're going to run the football really, really well. Herbert hasn't had his breakout year yet, but he's been very, very good in the regular season.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
so I'm Chargers.
He's been good in the regular season.
Yeah, I would take the Chargers. I think Brown's right, though. I think it's 10-9.
Yeah, I think it's 10-7 versus 9-3.
Yeah, I think 10 or 11 wins is going to win the West. I think the West is that balanced this year.
I'm going to go 11 for the Chargers and 9 or 10 for USC.
4th down.
Sticking out west, current job longer, Lincoln Riley or Sean McVay?
Well, Lincoln Riley has the $88 million, $78 million, whatever it is, buyout. And Sean McVay has a model wife and a lifestyle where he could walk away at any moment.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, McVay will never get fired.
No. So
I'm
going to say Lincoln Riley is there longer than Sean McVay. I could see him win one more Super Bowl and walk away.
Lincoln Riley at USC or just Lincoln Riley coaching? Current job?
I mean, do you think if Lincoln Riley has success, if he wins 9 or 10 games and they continue to get a little bit better, is there another job that he would leave USC
I think he could
for?
go to the NFL. Yeah. I mean, with his success at coaching quarterbacks, like if he somehow developed Maeva into a Heisman Trophy candidate, I think the NFL franchises would be like, man, all this guy does is send quarterbacks to our league.
Look at the money he'd be leaving behind right now, though.
Oh, to go to the NFL?
Yeah.
Wishful thinking, I'm going to say McVay's there longer. I just hope he's like, hey, let's play this out 20. He's talking about running it back a couple of years ago. Let's run it back for 20 more years.
Yeah. 20 more years.
Okay, take me to my grave with McVay.
Yeah, absolutely. I will
fast forward to the end of this year, and they're 8-9. Let's circle back.
I will say Riley there longer.
I believe Riley too. And that is 4 downs.
That's it.
Four?
Yeah.
That's 4 downs today. Interesting college football conversation going on. At Pro Football Focus, Brownie brought this up earlier. There is a lot of people who are starting to jump on this bandwagon, probably because of one particular player, Brownie.
Yeah, I mean, I think one player, and the player's photo is in this tweet, so I think they would tell you what they think about this player. But Pro Football Focus, I was looking in the commercial break, has out their top 5 offensive lines in college football. And I was, immediately drawn to the photo, and I'm like, they really like Alabama. They got them number 1 in all of college football, Pro Football Focus.
So according to Pro Football Focus,
as far as offensive lines go,
the best offensive line in college football, the one that'll get that piece of furniture delivered to them, that trophy, what's it called?
The
Joe Moore?
Joe Moore, the piano?
Yeah. Would be Tuscaloosa, Alabama in the preseason, according to them right now.
Yeah, no, there's another interesting one on here to me, that if this is legit and this quarterback is where some people say he could be, interesting team.
South Carolina.
Number 5 is Oregon, which I don't think surprises you that much, right? Number 4, the Florida Gators.
Ooh.
And if Lagway's as good as they say, and they've got a top 5 offensive line, look out for Florida.
Oh, yeah.
Can make some noise. Texas A&M, number 3. Elko's team, number 3. Utah, your Utes, Lance, number 2. And college football offensive line number 1, according to Pro Football Focus, is Alabama. And the photo is Caden Proctor.
Of course. I mean, Caden Proctor, some people have got him. Everyone's got him the number 1 tackle coming out. Some people have got him going number 1 overall, depending on, need of team.
Like if Giants have the first pick, they've already got quarterback with Jackson Dart, presumably. You wouldn't go quarterback again.
Was Proctor back at Bama at this time last year or still at Iowa?
I thought he came back after spring practice. Am I wrong about that? Was it after spring? It was about this time, yeah.
It was after spring.
Yeah, so about this time he came back.
But, I don't remember Alabama fans really being upset that he left to go to Iowa City because, the first year you saw how massive the guy was, but it was kind of hit or miss.
He was a problem for the first 3 or 4 weeks, and then he got gradually better and better and better.
Got dominant last year.
And if you look at him in the Michigan game, the loss at the Rose Bowl, it was the interior that got it handed to him that night. I think he held up fairly well against an NFL line, by my memory.
I think he was playing hurt in that game, too, if I remember correctly.
I didn't grade it out like some do.
Well, by the way, just real quick, I don't know if you've noticed, but those 2 interior linemen for Michigan,
they ended up being pretty good.
They're going to make some pretty good paydays in the NFL. One of them's playing for my Dolphins, and Nick Saban said it was the best interior line he had ever seen or he'd ever prepared for. So, I mean, Nick Saban's coached a few football games. So when you see a guy like that say that Michigan interior line was pretty remarkable.
I'll tell you, man, the Michigan build, and this will be something we'll look back on because you're never going to see this again, but what Harbaugh was able to do those 4 years, recruiting those guys, bringing them in, keeping those guys, being in the semifinals. We talked about the TCU upset yesterday. They had an opportunity to win a national championship 2 years ago, but they continued to build and build and build and finally got it done. That's going to go down as something that we'll never see again and something that we probably understate as being one of the more impressive things over the last decade in college football.
Elite College Football on Instagram put out its 15 most hated college football programs going into the season. We know when Nick Saban was there, Alabama was number 1. Let's see where Alabama is now in the rankings. Let's start at number 5 if we can. And this is Elite College Football.
They're always going to be top 5.
Notre Dame is number 5.
They can go 6-6, 5 straight, 10 straight years. They're always going to be in the top 5. People
I
just hate Notre Dame.
think this is still older generation.
I agree.
We talked about it a little bit last year when they played for the national championship. Marcus Freeman is making Notre Dame more likable.
He is the most likable coach they've had in my lifetime.
Oh, yeah.
Either I disliked the Notre Dame coach or I just didn't care about the Notre Dame coach.
Yeah.
I actually like Marcus Freeman.
Bob Davie, probably
Didn't
indifferent.
care.
Brian Kelly, you probably don't like.
Didn't like Brian Kelly. Tyrone Willingham, didn't care.
Yeah.
Charlie Weiss probably didn't like.
Charlie Weiss didn't like. Lou Holtz didn't like. But I actually like Marcus Freeman. He's the most likable coach they've ever had, I think.
Yeah, it was I agree with you. Notre Dame feels different now.
Yeah.
So 5 is where they are. Number 4, most hated college football programs out there right now. To me, Ohio State is almost number 1.
I'm shocked they're not number 1.
I would have put them 1, especially Dave finally winning a national championship. Yeah, I'm surprised they're not number 1.
Yeah. Did you see Justin Thomas? He played in the Memorial Pro-Am, and his group were, I don't know who the entire group was, but Nick Saban and Ryan Day were in the group.
Yep.
And they were interviewing him after him, and he says, I told Coach Saban after the round, I hate to say this, but I have to start pulling for Ohio State occasionally because I liked Ryan Day so much. So Alabama deep roll tide Justin Thomas was like, I kind of like the guy.
You remember our friend Shannesty Ireland, who used to work at CBS 42.
Kentucky girl, right?
She was a Kentucky girl, lives in Ohio with her husband now and family. Her son Luke is a really, really good golfer. They were there, and she sent a video of him getting to – he's a big Alabama fan because he was born here.
Right.
And went up to – lives in Ohio now, and you can only imagine being a kid who's probably 12 or 13 now, going to school as an Alabama fan. He wears Alabama gear in Ohio.
Yeah.
In the last few years with what Ohio State has been. But she had sent a video of him getting Nick Saban's autograph and posing for a picture with Nick Saban.
That's pretty cool.
At
Yeah,
that
at the
Pro-Am.
Memorial.
It was pretty neat. Where are we? Number 3 most hated college football programs. Texas. I would have said if it wasn't Ohio State, I would assume Texas would have been number 1.
I mean, kind of weird here, Lance, because I don't know what they've really accomplished to earn this hate.
They haven't accomplished anything at all. I will say they're the most hated team in the SEC right now.
We don't have 2-1 up here yet. But they haven't.
I'm saying amongst
right now, yeah.
SEC fans.
Yeah. I just think I tell you why I think people hate Texas. I think there's a sense of entitlement that they haven't earned. Like sometimes programs or people are entitled and you're like, I mean, they do at least have some accomplishments.
No, this was Georgia before they won a national championship.
Yeah, they just got this sense of entitlement, Texas does.
Yeah,
and
we
really haven't earned that.
Way too much Texas for a team that hasn't won one in 2 decades.
That's right.
Yeah, they're basically the Dallas Cowboys of college football.
Correct. Yep. Yeah, it's weird. Same state, huh?
Yeah. To number 2, the Michigan Wolverines.
I've always hated Michigan more than Ohio State. With all due respect to our Michigan people in the audience, I'm sorry to tell you this.
Other way around for me.
Yeah, I've always found Michigan a little more digestible.
I always liked in the
don't like either one of them.
When I only had one college football game on Saturdays, and it was Michigan and Ohio State playing, I always cheered for Michigan.
Okay, but before you unleash number 1, hard to believe that either Georgia or Alabama is going to be out of this.
I know. One of them's not in the top 5.
And it's also hard to believe, if you would have said this 15, 20 years ago, that you don't have a Florida team that is in the top 5.
That's right.
Miami, Florida State, or Florida. Any of them,
Miami,
right?
Florida State, or Florida. Yeah. Alabama, Georgia, you haven't seen them.
Can I ask y'all a quick Michigan-Ohio State question?
Yep.
Did you ever as a kid, or maybe you do it now, I don't know, when you watch a rivalry like Duke, North Carolina, Michigan, Ohio State, Texas, Oklahoma, whatever, think, if I lived there, this was the team I would pull for? Like, do you ever just think I think if I had to live in this rivalry, I'd be on this side?
The strangest thing I've thought, if we did a show in Nebraska, how easy it would be.
Oh, you talk about Nebraska?
Yeah.
Boy, it'd have been a
can't upset anybody.
Hey, it would have been a miserable last decade and a half.
Oh, it would have been, yeah.
Well, I would tell you, I lived in Lexington, Kentucky.
LSU would be the same, though, at Louisiana.
I lived in Lexington, Kentucky, and it wasn't as much fun as you think it would be because Louisville was a non-factor in Lexington. And I've told the story 1,000 times on the air. My first weekend to anchor up there, coming from here, I did basketball Kentucky, same amount of highlights post-game, and then I went to Louisville, same length of highlights in post-game because I grew up with Alabama and Auburn, 50-50 coverage. I got called and yelled at by the sports director,
Why
Alan
you show
Cutler.
Louisville?
Why'd you show Louisville highlights?
At
they
all?
won the game. Full screen graphic would have been appropriate, he said, when they win. If they lose, you can show them. I was like, okay.
Show them struggling.
Was this the dude that threw things?
Yeah, Alan Cutler.
So he says if they win, just show the score. That's all we need.
Full screen graphic.
Louisville beat Syracuse tonight, 94-30, 94-78.
Louisville.
Triple overtime. We're not going to show you
It's not as
highlights.
much fun as you think it is, as you think it could be. It would be easier, less people arguing. Okay, do you guys think Alabama's still the most hated team according to
I just don't feel like Georgia has ever earned this hate for some reason.
Yeah, I don't either.
I
I think based on the fact that Georgia was out of it last year, Alabama is still your number 1 team.
Alabama's still the number 1 most hated franchise program.
This is where you want to be, by the way.
That's right. You want number 1 in this ranking.
Yeah.
That's what you want.
Now, they got to be good again this year to hold this, up because if Ohio State wins it this year or if Texas wins it, they'll be number 1. But I have a sneaky feeling that Alabama could still be number 1 this time next year.
You didn't pick them to win yours, did you?
I did not have LSU, but they could be good enough to keep people hating them enough.
Kalen DeBoer is a difficult guy to hate, though. He's just so
Saban was definitely easier to hate.
So plain. Is that a way to describe Kalen DeBoer?
Just seems like a normal guy coaching football.
That's Elite College Football on Instagram, most hated teams in college football. When we come back, trash is part of the conversation. LSU is retiring a great, and
you got to tell us the things you hate in stadiums. That intrigued me. You started it with Fuhrman, and you got like 4 more.
It was the pool at Chase Field,
right?
The pool at Jaguar Stadium.
Okay, 2 pools. You don't like pools in stadiums. That's 2.
You remember you guys watched? They still have these.
What about a boat in a stadium?
A boat?
I mean, how hokey is that?
It's a pirate ship. It's not a boat.
Yeah.
When we get a first down, we fire a cannon.
Yeah, I know.
When we kick a field goal, we fire it 3 times. That's pretty. When we score a touchdown, we fire it 6 times.
You like it? You fire it 6 times for a touchdown?
Oh yeah, you've never heard it?
I don't watch it. I try not to watch a ton of Bucs football.
Oh, we kick a field goal. It's boom, 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 boom.
Wow.
You score a touchdown. It's 6 firings. Yeah.
Okay.
You get 6 points, Brent.
That is a lot of cannons.
Yeah.
More in the Baker Mayfield.
Yeah.
there were years.
Some years that cannon gets dusty.
Yes. What did they do for a Jameis Winston interception?
So at Nebraska, They would make somebody walk the plank.
A lot of people died.
Nebraska, if you watched old school Nebraska, and it's still that way, they have those seats that basically are below the ground, and you're looking through a chain link fence.
I remember that as a kid thinking, why would anybody sit there?
Those are the worst seats ever.
And they were in the end zone.
Yeah.
That's like not along the sidelines. You're looking through a chain link. Like people were literally hanging on the fence like it was a schoolyard.
It was like you're in a Little League ballpark.
I remember that as a kid thinking, why is anybody sitting there?
Yeah. And then I don't like the seating at Mercedes-Benz Stadium or at Jerry's World down on the field for the same reason. You're blocked by everything that's on the sideline.
Yeah, less in NFL games. They keep the NFL sideline much cleaner than they do college. But when we're at the national championship of the SEC and we're walking on the field and I see all these rich people in that field level suite, I'm like, you got the worst seat in the house. You are not going to see anything today.
And then I don't understand, at Mississippi State, they took away some of the upper deck seats and they put in those high top tables. I don't think I'd want to sit up there in the upper deck on a high top table. It's still the upper deck.
Yeah, I mean, I think they put those because they couldn't sell the upper deck seats and they could sell fewer of these. But I'm with you. That is a long way up to be watching.
So those were 5 stadium quirks that I didn't understand. If you missed it earlier, the pools at Chase Field and at Jaguars stadiums. I don't know why I'd want to be at a pool at a sporting event.
Don't the Marlins have a giant fish tank in their stadium?
They do. They used to have one behind the. You could see it in the broadcast. It was like an aquarium in the short wall right below the backstop. But I do think they have a big one out. I know the Rays, when we had our home stadium in the minor league park, we had a Devil Rays swimming around in a pool. You could go pet them. But they had like an aquarium built into the wall. But for some reason, I think the fish died at Marlins Stadium. That they couldn't keep the oxygen level right.
Yeah, he's probably sits out there and bakes in that water. He can't get deep enough.
Yeah. They may still have it. I don't watch a lot of Marlins baseball games when they play the Braves 62 times a year.
Charles wants to know if you like the Green Monster.
The seats at the Green Monster?
Or just the Green Monster in general.
Love the Green Monster.
And do you like the seats at the top?
Love the seats at the top.
I love the Green Monster.
Do you? I do too. Lone Soldier says, how about fans paying to sit on rocks at Mizzou home games, Lance? You like that?
I mean, I don't know if anybody pays for those tickets,
when they first
right?
came in the league, Tyler, Lance, I can't believe we've let this team in. A bunch of fans sitting on a rock like they're a snake. Like a bunch of snakes sitting
out there
on a rock.
sunning themselves in September. All right, when we come back, Shedeur Sanders. Something's not adding up on a story that's out there. Did he or did he not get this gift or a purchase after signing day with the NFL Cleveland Browns? It's coming up before we get to trash on the other side. The show today being brought to you by the great folks at Hemp Hill. Tell us about Hemp Hill Services.
Yeah, 205-229-2090. Adam, Chad, Andrew awaiting your call. You need to make sure that HVAC unit ready to keep up with the changing weather. 205-229-2090. Hard to stop a train. For more information, hemphillservices.com.
Follow The Next Round on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Next Round Live.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
Your representation states that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
You could win a Cadillac CT5 or your share of $25,000 in free play and cash at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. The more you visit, the more chances you have to win. Play the latest, most exciting games around with fun bonuses and big jackpots. You can be a winner too. Come win your share during the Cadillac CT5 and $25,000 giveaway at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. Drawings April 5th and 6th. Located off I-459, exit 31, Derby Parkway. Must be 21 or older, must be present to win.
Hey, you. Days warming up. Looking like spring. And at New Balance Birmingham, we've got the thing. What pops and what's fresh? Check the selects. Come together at New Balance Birmingham on Highway 280, right next to Chick-fil-A. New Balance Birmingham. We got now.
Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The social media team at Next Round Live is dedicated to giving you daily news conferences and practice video from UAB, Alabama, Auburn, and around college football. Follow and compare to the sites you used to visit. You'll also get the latest highlights and news from the Next Round Daily Show. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. See more at nextroundlive.com.
Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop. Rare quality, well-done service.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between 2 warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try chicken and bowberry waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
It's time to pull the trigger on the Next Round merch that you've been eyeing. We know there's a lot to choose from at nextround.store, so here's a few of our favorite picks. If you want to match LT and Brown, go with a TNR logo hoodie and throw in one of Dunaway's favorite hats. Any of them will do. The Backroom's go-to is the classic logo t-shirt, while my personal favorite is the light blue TNR crew neck. All of these items can be found at nextround.store and are EG approved. Rest assured, your order will be packed with lots of love from us here at the Next Round. Head over to nextround.store to start filling up your cart.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Always think Allman Brothers on this bumper.
Yeah,
it's got a little Allman Brothers in it.
This is non-licensed generic music, so probably shouldn't say that. It sounds like the Allman Brothers.
This is a track called Swampland, and it comes from YouTube Creator Music. So we got the
there you go.
We have the rights to it.
Yeah, that's one of the unfortunate things about what we do is with on demand, the music rights are crazy to navigate, so we have to go with unlicensed music, and that is unlicensed.
Technically it's licensed.
It's licensed, but for us to use. Yeah.
Show being brought to you by a couple of our great sponsors. One of them is Dr. B. Tell us about Dr. B LT.
Dr. B, again, I've said it day one. We started this platform. We had never really done any visual element. I could see that I was starting to thin out. I made a couple of calls. Everybody said Dr. Beckenstein is the man you need to see. Since that moment, hair has more than doubled in thickness. I do the non-invasive treatment 3 times a week, 30 minutes each time on the couch. 205-319-0316. For more than 20 years, women and men have turned to Dr. B for a range of cosmetic and reconstructive procedures. He will use his experience, advanced training, and genetic testing to help his patients fully understand the procedures they are considering. 205-319-0316. T3's got that new test, easy, painless, affordable, takes 4 seconds to perform. It's going to show which medicines and compounds will specifically work for your hair loss. Stop wasting your money and critical time while you're losing hair on treatments that aren't working for you. Come see Dr. B. Find out what will work for you. 205-319-0316 or t3hair.net.
And also by our friends at Champy's World Famous Fried Chicken. They bring you the final hour of the show every day. Champy'sChicken.com, Highway 119 in Alabaster. Go by and see Sterling and the crew there. The hand-cut chicken fingers, the Mississippi Delta recipe tamale. It's a good date night. It's great for tailgating when we get to football coming up in, 85 days on week 0. It's just a place to go to in Alabaster. Destination lunch location. We got some Yankees down here, want some good Southern food. Highway 119 in Alabaster, Champy'sChicken.com.
Hey, because you're wearing the Tulane shirt, are you a Willie Fritz fan?
I did not like Willie Fritz when he was there.
Like, if you look at Willie Fritz, the guy, and I don't know if Jeeves can pull this, he looked like the dude that was the dad in Alf.
Yeah?
What was that guy's name?
But I'm looking at this picture of Willie Fritz when he played at Pittsburgh State. Have you ever seen this?
Oh, my gosh.
Look at Willie Fritz, and I want to see if Tyler can find that. Does that look like Willie Fritz at all?
There's the Alf guy.
Yeah, that's the Alf guy.
I've never thought of Willie Fritz and the Alf guy.
Okay, so pull Willie Fritz, Pittsburgh State. I just think this picture is amazing.
When was he there? Do you know? Because
78-81, he was a defensive back and a punt returner.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah, there
first
it is.
First picture, Tyler. There you go.
I mean, I never saw this out of Willie Fritz.
I mean, that is old school.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's more extreme than Dvorak, Dusty Dvorak's NFL rookie picture compared to him now.
I remember when, Dusty was on and we pulled those up. It looked nothing like him.
Massive dude back in the day.
Everybody used to have the neck roll back in the day. Man.
Yeah, that's an interesting neck roll.
It is.
That's more like the Lululemon logo.
It is. That neck roll was that was for show. There was some show in that neck roll.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Speaking of show, Shedeur Sanders got under $500,000 as a signing bonus for where he was drafted in the 5th round. It was $400,000 and some change, his signing bonus with the Cleveland Browns. And then there were reports as the draft ended and he was getting ready to go to the OTAs this week that he had purchased a $500,000 Rolls Royce.
I swear to God, I was going to kid and say he's probably already spent that on a car. Joking. Did not know this.
Not a car, a Rolls Royce.
Yeah, and people, because a video was released of the Rolls Royce showing up at the Sanders compound out in Boulder. This is the video showing up. And Shedeur Sanders says, basically, another lie, not my car. Deion said another lie. But in the video, Deion Sanders Jr., who handles all their social media, is FaceTiming with Shedeur. And Shedeur says, bro, is that my car? My car's arrived? And it's Shedeur there talking to Deion. See, there's a FaceTime going on. So it's a $500,000 Rolls. By the way, it looks like crap.
Those are the ugliest cars.
Yeah.
I mean, I know you're not driving it because they look good. You're driving it because of the name that's on it.
I just don't like that matte moss green.
Yeah.
I think if you went, straight up black or
that's
traditional
exactly
silver.
right. If I'm going to have one, I don't want it to look like I forgot to clean my pool. Okay,
I don't get this at all. Either embrace it or what bothers me, and especially if I'm a Cleveland fan, if my potential quarterback's out there lying about something that's really arbitrary, what does it matter?
Yeah.
I wouldn't want my quarterback using the judgment of taking every cent that he has made with this signing bonus and spending it on a car. Doesn't seem really smart, but why would you lie about this?
Deion Sanders Jr. now comes out and says, who said anything about that being Shedeur's? Nobody said that. Y'all just made your own story and ran with it. It's mine. It's my Rolls Royce.
Question, class. Where in the hell do you get your money?
Yeah, and by the way, why did Shedeur say, is that my car?
Yeah,
that's why they ran with it. So you're going to get a lot of show with the
Sanders family.
The Sanders.
He's good, and it's one of those things that I always loved Deion as a player. I mean, I liked Deion the personality as well, but it's going to be hard to pull for Shedeur if he's lying about simple, stupid things like this.
How many reps do you think he got in yesterday's 11 on 11?
Well, how many reps were there total?
I don't know that.
I'm going to say 0 then.
0.
Yeah. So that was when it was 11-11. When it was versus Air and he was 7 of 9 for 3 touchdowns, we found out about it.
This is the way I think this thing's going to shake out. I've said this and I've stuck with it. Pickett will be your starter day one.
Is that who got the most reps? Do you know who got the most reps?
Pickett, Flacco, Dillon, Gabriel.
In that order.
Yeah.
0 for Shedeur.
I think it's going to be Pickett, Shedeur, and then Dillon. And I think Flacco's going to be the odd man out. And I actually think Pickett's going to play well enough that it's going to keep Shedeur off the field for a little bit.
Knicks win last night. Karl Anthony Towns did played great, 24 points, 111-94, forcing a Game 6 tomorrow night in the NBA Eastern Conference Finals.
Excited. We got a series.
Edmonton is off to the finals. Rematch of last year's Stanley Cup. Edmonton and Florida. They start Wednesday with Game 1 in Edmonton, so they have home ice advantage. Do y'all remember the year, the last time the Canadian team won it?
It was 1993 against the L.A. Kings.
You're exactly right. 1993. Edmonton's trying to break that streak.
That was the last time the Canadians won it.
No, that was the last time a Canadian franchise won
that's what I'm saying. But Montreal is actually the franchise that won it.
Montreal Canadiens won it, and they were the last Canadian franchise to do it.
That is so hard to believe when you think about, like, can you imagine if we had teams all over the world in football and we hadn't won one in 30 years?
Yeah. I mean, it would be that way in basketball, too.
Basketball. It would be that way in baseball.
It'd be the equivalent of, like, the SEC going that long without a college national championship. You'd be like, man, I mean, these people, they are college football. How do they never win a championship?
That's a great point. That's a great point. Almost like Big Ten basketball right now. They need to crank it up.
That's hard to believe. But, I mean, if you would have said after Patrick Waugh walks off or skates off the ice with another cup, hey, we're going to be sitting here in 2025 and we still don't have another Canadian champion.
I'm not sure I got this right, but Connor McDavid last year avoided touching whatever the name of the trophy is for the Western Conference Championship. He didn't touch it. Captains traditionally don't touch it because you don't want to be jinxed.
Is it the Smythe Conn?
For the Stanley Cup.
The Conn Smythe was the
Eastern
MVP, isn't it? Or
that's the Hart.
Whatever it is, he didn't touch it last year, not to jinx them, because if you touch that one, apparently, as the captain, then you don't win the Stanley Cup.
Okay.
Last night, he went and embraced it. First one to go grab the trophy, skate around with it, trying to flip opposite of what they did last year.
Do you pull for a franchise that Johnny-come-lately Florida that won it last year, or do you pull for the Canadians?
I'd like to see the Canadian team.
I'd like to see Edmonton win it.
Yeah. Did you see Rob Brindamore, who was the Panthers coach, saying, I thought this was interesting. Like, they thought they were arguing, he and I don't know who the other coach was, in the Eastern Conference Finals, but they asked him about afterwards. He was like, no, I am of the belief as a former player, these guys in suits and jumpsuits shouldn't be out shaking hands. The players ought to do the handshake line. Coaches have no place in the handshake line. And he goes, I was just explaining that to whoever the other coach was. It looked like they were arguing about something, and then the audio came out because he was mic'd up and you could hear what he was saying. He was like, hey, if it's okay with you, we're not going to do the handshake line. I think this ought to be players only. They're the ones that have been out here sweating. We're just standing behind the bench. That was an interesting stance. Like, I don't have an issue with it, but it's just, I've never heard anything like that.
Yeah.
Like, he's like, I'm a coach, I'm in a suit, I shouldn't be in the handshake line. That ought to be players only.
Well, whatever the tradition is, I would just do that. If they were the suit guys were shaking hands in 1955, then keep shaking hands.
Well, Rob Brindamore played a lot of hockey, so I think that guy's he's probably got a pretty good opinion on it.
All right, let's do trash today. In the final hour of our show, it's always brought to you by our friends at Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy, Tyler.
Tell me about the whistles. The whistles go woo. When you want to woo woo, it's that woo woo. You know what I'm saying?
LT's Trash is presented by Bud Light.
Oh, we start first. I'm going to save your first for last for Dunaway, because I think he's probably going to buy one of these, but we'll see. We'll see. We start first. An aggressive duck has been terrorizing a sleepy Florida neighborhood.
Get the duck out of here.
And attacking its elderly residents, even bloodying one local, according to reports. Now, the federally prosecuted Muscovy duck, who's since been named Jimmy, has chased several people with its wings spread out in attack mode. Bit one resident while he was sleeping on the otherwise quiet street in Cape Coral, according to Fox 4.
Well, what's going on at this time of year is the ducks and the geese, they've laid their eggs, and they're protecting their young. Some eggs have hatched, some haven't. They're protecting their little ones.
I have heard of the black sheep. I've never heard of the black duck. Now, James Spavolva,
you should try it,
was bitten by the vicious waterfowl last week. He had lived in the neighborhood for nearly 3 decades, but it was the first time a duck has even drawn blood on his own porch. He told the local station, quote, I sit on my porch 7 to 7:30 at this time of year to catch the sunset, some fun. Had my eyes closed. All of a sudden I felt a jab on my hand and I was bleeding. Now, the black duck, which is native to Texas and several Latin American countries, but not Florida, was the culprit.
So he wasn't walking near where the eggs. This duck came and attacked him. Wow.
Although the Migratory Bird Treaty Act protects a breed of duck, Sepulveda said if it attacks and injures people, it should be shown no mercy. He goes on to say, quote, they should be gotten rid of, end quote.
Yeah. If this was a cartoon, they would be, that little Elmer Fudd guy would be like chopping carrots and potatoes into a big boiling pot of water, and the duck would be
cauldron.
going in there. Yeah.
Homestead man was arrested over the weekend after he struck a car with his SUV, then tried to bribe responding police officers with a $20 bill.
Oh, 20 will cover it.
According to the arrest report from the Homestead Police Department, the incident occurred Sunday at the Nex NEXX Hotel, or motel, I should point out there.
Double X. Nothing dirty happens here. It's just a double X motel.
Police said they received reports about a vehicle hitting another vehicle in the parking lot, arrived to find the suspect, Aiden Domingo, 34, behind the wheel. Boy, he looks older than 34.
I agree. He's lived a lot for 34.
He was in a blue GMC Arcadia that was parked directly behind the vehicle that was in a parking spot. According to a report, officers approached the SUV and spotted an open Corona bottle that still had condensation on its center console.
He looks like an avatar I would create in my EA Sports game.
For what?
Like, do I... Well, you pick faces.
How
and,
big do I make the eyes?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. It's like
slide it all the way.
Do you want more jawline or forehead? Give me more jawline.
He's got Ryan Day's beard on his head.
Yeah.
Now,
ears.
The officer
large,
said
extra large. Give me the extra large.
Domingo had, quote, very red, bloodshot, and glassy eyes, and he smelt very strongly of sweat, alcohol, and urine.
Oh.
That's a bad combo.
Now, after being asked for his driver's license, that's when Domingo began to stall and attempted to bribe two police officers with a $20 bill. According to the report, Domingo then began acting erratically, tried to grab one of the officer's vest, at which time he was placed into handcuffs despite trying to resist arrest. Police said one officer deployed her taser on the suspect before he was redirected to the ground. According to the report, Domingo agreed to perform a field sobriety test, but, quote, laughed during most of the exam. After failing to pass the test, Domingo slapped an officer's wrist as he was attempting to direct him towards a bench, then threatened to shoot the officer in the face while he was being booked.
That's a bad idea.
Yeah, that's when he was taken down, and he's been charged with a slew of things.
Chris in the chat says that this guy looks like if Will Smith ate Carlton.
That's a good call.
It's not awful, yeah.
Good call.
So we've got deputies in Jefferson County, Colorado.
Oh.
They have
long lines.
tried an unconventional method to deal with a wild intruder, a bobcat that had taken up temporary residence in a family's living room. Now, the animal had climbed onto a shelf near a television inside of a home in Ken Carl, part of the Denver metro area. When officers arrived on May 22nd, they decided to see if the tried and true feline favorite might work, the laser pointer. Now, Sheriff's Office shared the video footage on X showing deputies pointing green laser sights from their tasers around the living room in an attempt to lure the bobcat off the shelf. Quote, well, I'm going to see if he chases the laser. I don't know. Cats like lasers. It's not a normal cat, the first deputy jokes back. Cats are all the same. They are all like the same, another deputy jokes. The animal eventually left on its own through the back door, and Sheriff's Office went on to write, quote, guess some intruders just aren't dazzled by our high-tech tricks.
I mean, it's kind of a mean-looking cat, too, isn't it?
Yeah.
Are there any nice-looking cats?
No, I'm not a cat person.
I mean, as still as that cat's being, I would have sat down on the couch, turned on the television, and thought to myself, where the hell did Maggie buy that cat-looking statue?
Why do we have a stuffed cat?
Yeah. That is frightening.
That is frightening. Is this what Dunaway's about to buy right here?
Yeah, here we go. Move over, Gwyneth Paltrow. Sydney Sweeney's got a new way to bottle up her essence.
Not a big fan.
You're not a big fan?
Nope.
Wow. Turning bathwater into a beauty empire with a soap bar that's practically her in every bit of lather. Now, the Euphoria star has teamed up with Dr. Squatch Soap for her new soap called Bathwater Bliss. Limited edition bar soap is formulated with exfoliating?
Exfoliating.
There we
Thank
go.
you.
Sand and pine bark extract, as well as a splash of Sweeney soap that channels two of the best places on earth, the great outdoors, Sydney Sweeney's bathtub, according to this press release. Limited edition, only 5,000 bars available. idea didn't just come out of nowhere. Sydney told GQ she noticed fans started begging her for her bathwater, and being the empowered sex symbol icon she is, took the opportunity to cash in.
I really thought she was selling her bathwater when this story first started. I thought it was going to be her bathwater.
I did too. Which you can keep replenishing the stock every day.
Well, if you take a bath every day.
Her press release says, "Hello, you dirty little boys. Are you interested in my body wash?" Question mark.
Yeah.
Quick pause there.
I mean, I would say 1 to 10 are face, 7, maybe an 8.
You give Sydney Sweeney an 8?
Yeah. And then I think your boobs can be too big.
Interesting. I did not think that would come out of your mouth.
Yeah, I really didn't.
Not as much too made of those, I think.
I think they're pretty symmetrical. I think they dialed her back in the first season of White Lotus.
To the point I had to Google to make sure it was her.
Yeah.
Lance. I really did.
But she is very attractive.
Not for me.
Chris says, I need Dunaway to tell me who he approves of above Sydney Sweeney.
Yeah, that's a very good point.
Who's above the Sydney Sweeney?
Dunaway likes some weird stuff.
I don't know names, but I could give you a long list.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know names. I like the little assistant girl on Studio. She's fun. She has a good personality. She's fun.
You are kidding, right?
No, she's fun.
Steffi Graf, too. Don't forget that.
Oh, the two girls on the Studio are rough as corn cobs.
I enjoy personality, LT. Somebody's fun to be around. And I think boob size.
You don't like being around anybody.
I think boob size can be overrated.
I've never watched the Studio.
Studio's good. It's a little over the top because they try to be way too much like Curb. No, it's not her.
No.
Not Catherine Hahn.
That's Gigi South.
I do like Catherine Hondo.
Exactly who that is. You're right.
Yeah. She plays the same character in everything.
Yeah.
You're talking about the I don't know if she's Indian or if she's Indian or Hispanic.
Is it like multiple choice and you say it twice? That's her, yeah.
Which one?
Sydney Sweeney. Hey, to each their own, man.
Yeah. Boy, that's a weird name there, Jim. I don't know if you're going to get past the Chase Sweet Wonders.
Yeah, it's perfect, Brownie. Nailed it.
I mean, she looks like the Lily Gladstone in that red dress, doesn't she, Tyler?
She does look like Lily Gladstone.
And that ain't what you want to look like.
Huh. I'm just telling you guys, variety and personality.
That's fine.
Yeah, that sounds like you.
Gladstone mixed with like Winnie Cooper.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. I heard Scott with the yap in the background.
What's wrong with Winnie Cooper?
I didn't say there was.
Maybe when you were a 12-year-old boy, not
Case closed. All right, that is Trash Today, and the show being brought to you by our friends at New York Butcher Shop. LT, the weekend's here. That means you'll go to New York Butcher once, twice, thrice?
Yeah, I'm planning on going by there, the Greystone location today, and picking up a couple of steaks for me and Jack and Jace. Looking forward to that. The fresh meats. Talked about the meatballs and spaghetti we did this past week. Great sides made in-house, from the mac and cheese to the mashed potatoes with the goat cheese. Fantastic selection of fine wines and desserts. Rare quality, well-done service. Get in, see Jim. 2 locations, the original Cobb Heights, newest location, Highway 119 in Greystone.
Chris says, my God, I want to play golf with Dunaway. I would love to get 4 hours of whatever goes on in that head. Zach says, shooter today, quote, boobs can be too big, and I like all ladies in cheeky bikinis, just shooter being shooter.
Hey.
Yeah, hot shooter.
Stay hot, shooter. Listen.
You are consistently inconsistent.
I will tell you, once you tell me that everybody thinks she is the hottest woman alive, I never see it. I'm like, okay, everybody thinks she's hotter. I'll find somebody hotter, in my opinion. Sydney Sweeney is a no starter.
Jay Bake says shooter would say it's not the size of the boobs near the heart. Near the heart, it's the size of the heart.
I don't want to lay out my boob philosophy to you guys, but if they're too big, there are certain times you could look like you're on a farm. I just no.
What a way to end the week, Dunaway.
Forrester, man, I'll see you Monday. Tyler, I'll see you Monday.
Yeah.
LT, I'll see you Monday.
I'm off Monday.
Brownie, I'll see you Tuesday.
I'll be back Tuesday.
I'll see you next Tuesday, Brownie. Don't ruin my joke, Brownie. I'm going to see you next Tuesday. Until next time, God bless you. God bless America.